All right, we are live. We are live, and I'm coming at you with five. Welcome again to another edition of Gavin Richard Presents here on channel GBOO 2786. Whoever you are, wherever you are, I hope you're blessed and doing safe. You're also watching this channel on my Twitter account, if I still have one, Periscope, uh, as well as Gavin Richard, and also on Facebook. Greetings to you all. I see Dan Ruck is in. He's broke the ice. He said, "Good grand evening." That Natalie Williams says, "Good night, family. Blessing everyone." Andrell Hart says, "Hey, Dan. Grant Unbothered." Ms. Natural Candy J, how you doing, sister? Good to see you. Got a lot of people that's coming in. And also all my friends on Facebook right now. Shout out to my brothers. I have to talk about this brother Dwayne Franklin, who I'm sure is watching, and a few others. We got about two people on there. Oh, we got 32 people. So all that censorship that they have tried didn't work. Of course, ladies and gentlemen, we're waiting on the Honorable Judge Joe Brown to come in. Judge always comes late. Judges come up and show up when they want to.
Right.
Uh, in the meantime, we're gonna get this party started. I have on the one on First Ladies First. I have Queen Shakur. Queen is always has two YouTube channels. Well, she did have one. It was taken away. We're going to talk about that a little bit. But you know her from Fly Nubian Queen, and I met this sister actually through the Black the Foundational Black American Conference. Remember, that's where we met, exchanged information. And I was on her channel back around Thanksgiving when we talked about various things from Bill Cosby to vaccination. I see, hey, Royal Family, Josie there. I got 45 people in the building. Thank y'all for tuning in. And I'm waiting on Judge to show up too, but we're going to get started. And of course, so Queen, thank you for coming in.
No problem.
And of course, you guys know this brother. He is the author of The Man Crisis. He is also the author of the John Haynes series. He is the author of several other books, including uh, Eternal Night, which is a novel that he has, a horror novel, vampires that came out. You all need to support him. Uh, Queen, by the way, I want you to send me your Cash App so I can put it up there too. But our brother Shawn James, welcome, Shawn. Welcome back
Thank
from
you.
last week.
Thank you for having me.
No problem. And I see. I guess I can go ahead and add him. Brother Bernard is here. Bernard. Brother Bernard has a channel, King BJ on YouTube. I don't know. Bernard may be having some. I can't see him or hear him. Let me remove him. But he just hit me up in the chat, Bernard. But Bernard, of course, is a guest on the Judge Joe Brown show. So we're still waiting on the judge to come in. But I'm still going to get this party started. And we'll go on from there whenever the judge arrives. You guys can buy, of course, the John Haynes series on Amazon and check that out. Shawn, as always, it's a pleasure to see you. And Queen, thank you again. Let's get into, I guess, what we all are talking about. And the big news, of course, is, this past week, Joe Biden uh, it has been inaugurated as President of the United States. Now, I titled this broadcast Inauguration 2021 or Indoctrination 2021, and there is a very important reason why I did that. I have noticed in the last few weeks, colleagues and friends of mine, including Queen Shakur, myself, uh, Brother Bernard, who is on the stream now. Bernard, it looks like your thing is working. How you doing, Bernard?
I'm doing fine, Gavin. Thank you for inviting me, and Queen, thank you, and Shawn James. Good to be back.
Glad to have you back.
All right. We are talking, of course, when I said indoctrination 2021, it appears as of right now, there is an attempt to censor and silence the truth seekers. Those who not even just truth seekers, but those who have a difference in opinion. What's up, Bishop? How you doing? I have noticed that as of late. and and it seemed to have started, especially after it was confirmed that Joe Biden would be the 46th president of the United States. Now, I want to get everybody's opinion. Obviously, Joe Biden was sworn in as president of the United States. He actually has 17, he signed on yesterday, 17 executive orders. I'm going to get into that in a second, but I want to go around the table and talk about number one, the aspect of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. They were both sworn in as president and vice president, respectively. What does that mean for Black people? I will start with ladies first, as we have our first, one of my first female guests in a long time, because the last one I think was Taisha. But I'm gonna start with the lady tonight, Queen Shakur. Could you tell us your thoughts about the Biden presidency?
Yes. What I think is that a lot of Black people have been duped, and they are in fact indoctrinated, as you said, because the thing is this: they're not any better than Trump. Now, the thing with Trump is Trump was blatantly racist, and Biden is a closeted racist because he smiles and acts like he's giving you gifts or he's going to do something for us. He's so down with Black people. I call him Colonel Panders because he panders to Black people consistently and persistently. This is what he does. He's already told lies. Now, if we think back to what he said just a couple of weeks ago, he was talking about giving us those $2,000 checks immediately so that he could help American families, right? And
Right.
$2,000 to $1,400, and they said, well, you already have 600. You already got the 600. But now we see that he hasn't given us anything, and they're talking about it's going to be March. There was a news report today saying that those checks will not be dispersed till March, and who knows if they'll even be dispersed at all, but they're definitely not $2,000 as was promised. Another thing I would like to mention is that they told Ice Cube, the Democrats, as I call them, they told Ice Cube they would speak to him and schedule a meeting with him after the election, or the selection, as I call it. Now, with that all being said, when is this meeting? When have they scheduled it? Because I don't think they have. So they're already backpedaling on things that they've said. And I think this is going to be much worse than Trump, because here's the thing that a lot of Black people didn't realize or didn't even care to entertain. Joe Biden has done much more racist things than Trump.
Oh, yes.
Trump speaks a lot of racist rhetoric. Yes, he does.
Right.
Racist. But Joe Biden for 40 plus years has been actively racist in politics and done things that are, detrimental to the Black community. Not only did he sign and author the 94 crime bill, but he also participated in the 1986 Drug Abuse Act. And with that all, he's a hypocrite because his own son, Hunter Biden, has done both cocaine and has not served a day in jail. So I don't think this administration is going to do anything beneficial for Black people. I think this is all just about controlling the narrative, pushing their own nefarious agendas. And I actually think this is going to work out far worse from us, because the only thing I see them promising us that I actually think they'll go through with is those vaccinations, being first in line for that. Okay, that's what I think.
Well, I would disagree with you on this aspect, Queen. He is not a closeted racist. He's outspoken racist in Joe Biden. I have, those crime bills that he signed that he created in '94, that was bad. But the ones before that, the '86 and also the '84 crimes bill that was passed, that Strom Thurmond had authored. Excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
There's a Supreme Court case you all can look up called Johnson versus United States. And that case in particular deals with the vagueness doctrine. And that was one of the crime bills that Strom Thurmond had. And of course, Joe Biden, being that he was a protege of Strom Thurmond, who was a Dixiecrat. My goodness. I mean, and when Judge comes on, I don't know if you've heard Judge before, he talks about it all the time, how Biden actually ran with, at his platforms as the last Dixiecrat. He eulogized Robert Byrd, for goodness sakes. He hung out with James Eastland and James Eastland and John Stennis. Those were the most racist senators in the United States in the 50s and 60s. James Eastland was the godfather of Mississippi politics. John Stennis is who they have the NASA facility named after right in Mississippi. So I take it a step further. Those were his mentors. But nevertheless, your point is taken, and I would dare. It's funny you called him Colonel Panders. I call Kamala Panderbear because she's always talking about she celebrated Kwanzaa when Kwanzaa wasn't even a holiday when she was born, and I know damn well she didn't celebrate it with her mother's side of the family. No way.
Right.
But
Absolutely.
but nevertheless, let's see what Brother Bernard. What do you have to say about this? What do you think Black people can expect? Is this a positive thing?
Well, I want to say something because yeah, I view all of them as racist. You know, the racist is a system. But see the thing that Trump said, see, he talked because he had to cater to what they call a base, right?
Mm-hmm.
But he had a base of widestream support among all coalitions. I mean, even us to some extent. He improved that. So, in all honesty, if you really look at things, a lot of us did not even vote because we said we didn't get no tangibles. I can name plenty of people I know that didn't vote in other places. Then he also got a larger voice of support. So what really happened is that we had a situation, as you can see, that Biden actually showing that they, I mean, he said it straight up, we committed the greatest voter fraud organization in history of American politics. He's showing you by having a what is it, a inauguration behind a gate. This is a sign of martial
Bernard,
law
you gotta
coming
say
on. This is not.
Bernard, do me a favor. Say alleged voter fraud because they're gonna pull my channel if we say stuff.
Yeah. Well, he said it out his own mouth, but I'll say it. He said it out his own
Just
mouth,
make
but
it.
I'll say alleged. Yeah, but this is what he said.
Yeah,
You know, I'm going by what he said. I got you, but I forgot the censor police are in. You know,
right.
so we saw that all these troops. That's a sign of martial law in like a banana republic. So, as you were saying about your channel, we have to really understand what's going on. The first day in office. Now, I'm gonna just say something. I mean, don't matter to me, but the key, what is it, the Keystone Pipeline? He
Yeah,
said, I'm not going to do anything. He went right back on his word. And they're going to go to the top with this. They're going to get really authoritarian. Like they're going at the Gab, Telegram, YouTube channels, and stuff. So, really, to tell you the truth, if you look at it, you're not living. I don't know, you know, but Trump was what I call the last patriot. Now you're living in what you call communist. Actually about to take them to the real top now. When they start telling you what you can say, who you can fire, and stuff like that, going out the social media page, you're in a different type of thing. I mean, I got my book right here sitting in front of me, the Communist Manifesto. You ought to read it. It's pretty interesting because that's what it looked like yonder. And oh, one more thing. Also, it looks like you're not under the control of a president anymore, the control of FEMA, because he's talking about sending FEMA and the National Guard to vaccinate people, and that's what Queen Shakur was talking about, having them come out and use vaccinations. And that would be very weird. Somebody coming to your door to vaccinate you.
Right.
yeah. That sounds more like honestly. I'm not an anti-vaxxer, but what I would say is that whenever some government has to come to your door, if that is if to give you something, it's not a good sign.
That's
I'll just say that right.
You see it?
Those are things that you do. If you get a vaccine, normally you go to your doctor for that. But if you're bringing government in to do that, then that doesn't sound very promising. And keep in mind also, Biden as president, he's in charge of the executive branch of office. So even I think he has signed executive orders. That's a list of things with regards to all he did was actually reverse everything that Trump has done. That was primarily what his thing is. He signed 17 of them. And of course, the only thing he has looked out for have been illegal immigrants and LGBTQ. He's putting out a mandatory mask mandate on federal grounds and also in travel places when you travel. Because remember, as president, he is the executive branch of the United States government. So the executive branch is what controls your federal federal agencies like your FAA and ATF and things of that nature. So the FAA, of course, deals with aircraft, so that all is all regulated. So he controls that aspect of it, and he's lifted the ban on travel from majority Muslim countries, halted construction of Donald Trump's wall along the United States-Mexico border. He's extended DACA for protecting young immigrants. And it's funny with regards to the transgender thing, the transgender bills that he signed on gender identity and sexual orientation in federal workplaces. There is something I'm going to talk about it later, but remind me, called Biden erases women, that was trending on Twitter as a result of that. So I want to talk about that in a minute. But I want to get my brother Shawn in. Shawn, what are your thoughts?
Well, when it comes down to this so-called inauguration, I think this is going to be a rude awakening for most of Black America. And it's going to be a rude awakening because most of Black America was the group that put your Joe Biden in office, and they're going to get a political education in the hard way. So they're thinking that by doing this, they defeated the evil Donald Trump. But at the end of the day, what's going to happen to most of these Black Americans who voted for Donald Trump is they're going to get what I call the Biden swerve. And in this swerve, they're going to find out that your Joe Biden really isn't the politician most Black people thought he was. And they're going to learn that there were no tangibles at the end of the road for them. And they're also going to learn that his policies are going to be extremely oppressive to Black people. So a lot of Black people are going to learn a very hard lesson over the next 4 years. And they're going to learn that your Joe Biden really was not what he said he was going to be. They went out here voting on emotion, and they're going to learn the hard way about voting on emotion and allowing people to manipulate your emotions. They sat there talking about, listening to the propaganda about the evil orange man, and now they're going to learn that the evil leftist man is just as bad. And that's what's going to happen. They're going to get a political education in the hard way. They're going to get a hard lesson. And I hate to say it, but if this country has a police shooting with a white cop killing a Black man, that's where we're really going to see the truth about your Joe Biden. We already started to see him swerve at that meeting with those Black leaders, where he swerved those Black leaders.
Those weren't leaders.
Well, alleged leaders. Those clowns that call themselves Black leaders. And we also saw him swerve the American people with that stimulus screw job, which I saw coming a mile away. And this is just the start of the screw jobs coming for the American people. It's going to be worse than Bret Hart at that pay-per-view back in 1997, the Montreal screw job. This is just the start of the screw jobs, because anybody who knows you're a nice guy knows that your nice guy will be your friend, but then he will just stab you in the back far worse than your jerks like your Donald Trump. Now, your Donald Trump was your open and out racist, but your Joe Biden is trying to be your friend. He gets close to you, then he stabs you in the back. So the screw job that's coming for America is going to be worse. And with this third term of the Obama presidency, get ready for the ultimate nightmare.
Shawn, I want to stay on you for a second. Wait, Bernard. I want to stay with Shawn for a second.
Right.
Shawn, I want to ask you something, because I was talking to one of my cousins. We were having a conversation about our show tonight. And he asked me a question. Well, Gavin, we got Donald Trump. Wasn't it about if you had to choose between those two, isn't it about getting Trump out, because Trump is the worst? So, I mean, is Trump the worst than Joe Biden? How would you answer that when people say choosing between the lesser of two evils?
Well, I just say we were better off with Trump, because at least you knew where you stood with Trump. I mean, it's the two sides of the same coin. You have the nice guy who is Joe Biden, and then you have the jerk who's Donald Trump. But the one thing with the jerk is you know where you stand with him. And when you know where you stand with him, you can form an interdependent relationship with that guy, because you know where you're standing. You know that you're not going to get anything from him, so you can just go on and do what you need to do. But with this nice guy, your Joe Biden, he pretends to be your friend. He tells you what you want to hear. He strings you along, and then he stabs you in the back. So you don't know where you stand with this guy because he tells you that he's going to do something like this $2,000 stimulus payment. He gets you caught up in your feelings, and then he yanks the rug right out from under you. So you don't have anything to stand on, and you're anticipating getting something, but at the end of the day, you're getting nothing. So when you have the jerk, yes, he's a racist and a jerk, but you know where you're going to go with the jerk, and you know where you're standing, so you can set a direction for you where you want to go. But the nice guy, what he does is he keeps yanking the rug out from under you, and you never get to get any traction or any movement because this guy just keeps swerving you. He keeps telling you lies, stringing you along, and he does you worse than your Donald Trump. Because at least with Donald Trump, you know where you're going, you know where you are, and you know what everything is about. But with this guy, he makes you feel good for a minute, but then he slaps you later on, and it becomes a codependent relationship where he just keeps abusing you, and you keep thinking that, oh, it'll get better, but it just gets worse. But at least with the other guy, you know that already he is what he is, so you know you just go around him. But with this Joe Biden, you know what you're gonna just get abused for the next 4 years, and then be told it's your fault.
Well, playing devil's advocate, because I even had my father. Wait, I'm gonna let you talk in a second, Bernard. Bernard. I want you to take this one. Should he be given, playing devil's advocate? Should he be given the benefit of the doubt, Bernard? By given a
Joe Biden?
chance? Yeah, should he be given a chance to do? It's like they always say. Well, he just got in office. You got to give him 4 years.
No. And as a matter of fact, I wanted to say one thing to you. You were right about something you said because Queen Dawson is in the chat, and Queen Dawson is she is a good supporter of ours. She loves our programs and everything. She said that she posted the link in the video of alleged scam. Can we use that scam? Better yet,
let's say alleged.
And they took the video out of your chat already. So that's how far they don't even want you to post it.
Well, so, eventually they might remove this stream, as far as I know. Yeah, but you say no, Queen.
Well,
go ahead.
Go ahead, Queen.
Well, at the end of the day, like I said, I don't think that anything beneficial is going to come from them, Biden and Harris. And no, I don't think we should give him the benefit of the doubt. And that is based off of his history. He has a history of not doing anything positive or beneficial to Black people. He has a history of doing things that are, in fact, detrimental. So with that being said, and also the fact that he's already backpedaled on the stimulus checks, that alone. So I don't think we should give him the benefit of the doubts. We have no reason to. You give people the benefit of the doubt when you think there's a possibility they're going to do something. But with the evidence stacked against him from what I have seen in his past work, I judge people based off of their history. If you have a history of doing dirt, I expect you to do more dirt. I don't expect you to all of a sudden become squeaky clean. So no.
Most definitely. Shawn?
I am not giving him the benefit of the doubt. The man has been in politics for 47 years. He's run for president once already, I believe twice. So no benefit of a doubt. This is a seasoned Washington politician. And what we see right here is what we're going to get. And what we're going to get is one big screw job.
Most definitely. Look, this is my Twitter. Let me just show you something right quick. Mm-hmm. All right. This is a list. I don't know if I was trying to show it through the Business Insider link, but this is the actual, this was on CNN. These are his actions on the first day that he signed with executive orders. So he rejoined the Paris Climate Agreement, World Health Organization, installed coronavirus response coordinator, canceled the Keystone Pipeline, included non-citizens in census, those are illegal immigrants, implemented a mask mandate, halted his border wall, funding for Trump's border wall, reverse the travel ban, resume regular press briefings, pause some deportations for 100 days, and rescinded the 1776 commission. So those were that's what he did on the first day. Now, when a president signs executive orders, those are effective on the executive branch. But I think it is very problematic when you see non-citizens getting rights more than even the American citizens are getting right now. Think of this. A few months ago, they were debating whether or not to give American citizens $600 versus $2,000. And that was only previously, a few months back, they only gave you $1,500 or $1,200. And everybody did not get that. That depended on your income, whether you were married. If you made at least 75,000, then yeah, you could get it, but under 75,000. But if you were a married couple and the limit was 150,000 or 125, if I'm not mistaken, there was a cutoff. Instead of them giving it to everybody, where we were all affected and impacted by this. Now, what is even more sad is that Nancy Pelosi, who is a Speaker of the House, and Mitch McConnell, and they were going back and forth. Nancy Pelosi is both of these people are multi-millionaires. Nancy Pelosi is actually worth $150 million. Mitch McConnell is the poor man. He's worth about 22. But the wealthiest person in the Senate, she's no longer there. Her seat was taken by Raphael Warnock, and that was Kelly Loeffler. She was worth about $800 million. Her husband is the chairman of the New York Stock Exchange. Remember this COVID relief bill that they passed around the Christmas break, that they were going to spend $40 billion in Pakistan to do gender studies? These people don't care nothing about you. They care nothing about you. And Biden didn't even say anything about it, and Harris didn't say anything about it. So that taught me enough what I was going to expect. People are, like you saying, I think it's going to be a screw job. And, Biden, of course, he has been in politics for all of his adult life. The old saying is, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. I don't think he's going to change any way, shape, or form, except if you're an illegal immigrant or if you're LGBTQ. Now, they obviously have, something that the Black community, I think, doesn't do. They don't lobby, I think, strong enough. We don't lobby strong enough, and we can learn at least some aspects of what they have accomplished, although we may not agree with their politics and what they're trying to do. But we built this as people who have built this country. As you see, even a couple of years ago on the congressional floor, they were given symbolic reparations, especially from a period of 2012 and 2015 that was proposed by, I believe it was Elizabeth Warren was the one that sponsored that bill. It was like a reparations bill. Am I right, Bernard?
Yep.
Right.
I think it was Sheila Jackson Lee.
Was it Sheila Jackson Lee was the one that proposed that reparations bill for? No. I'm talking about the LGBTQ reparations.
That was that's Elizabeth Warren. Sorry. Right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, to give back taxes on couples who weren't allowed to claim marriage status for federal income tax. They approved that. Now, it didn't go anywhere with the Senate, but of course, because the Senate is Republican, but now it's Democrat. So for the first 2 years, I can imagine everything is going to be given to all of these other groups except Black people. And I tweeted out last night, I said, how does everybody, I specifically asked everyone, those that voted, let me just put it up right here. Let me go back. I said, got to ask those that voted for Biden, how do you feel about the Black vote being diluted and obsolete down the line under Biden's immigration policy to allow 11 million illegals amnesty? Your vote won't matter, like Birdman said, no more. And that's just the way I feel, and that's just, he's saying it himself, even when he did that conference with those leaders. Shawn, what do you have anything to add?
Well, what was the topic again?
Just about how the black vote is being diluted, are going to be
Well,
diluted.
that was our fault because we had numerous people warn all of these black voters out here not to take their booties to the poll, but they had to go listen to the ad that told them to take their booties to the poll. They believed the lies about the evil orange man, and black people were told well in advance not to participate in this election. They were told by numerous YouTubers and numerous black people out here that there was no dog in the race for us. Unfortunately, you had black people who wanted this white acceptance so badly and this white approval so badly that they had to go out here to so-called make a statement. And now you have the president of Swerve pulling another swerve. He wants to bring in these immigrants, but this may wind up blowing up in his face if you look at the long-term picture. I mean, the black vote will be diluted in the short term, but what usually happens is when you import these voters is their children wind up voting Republican, and that's happened with a lot of the Cubans and the Latinos they brought over in the 80s and the 90s and even now. And they're voting in Florida. It's primarily of just a one big red state with Latinos voting red. The same thing is happening in Texas with them voting red. And this may backfire on Joe Biden very badly because he doesn't understand how these people work. They may come over here in the first generation, may vote one way, but once they start getting businesses and start making money and they start sending money overseas, it may blow up in their face. But black voters, they're the ones who are going to suffer the most because they thought, oh, if I participate in the political process, I'll get something because we'll get rid of the evil orange man in the short term. But they weren't thinking about what tangibles were being offered to them. And this is the big problem with black people. We never think about the big picture. We never think about the long term. All we're thinking about is social acceptance. And they vote on emotion. And when you vote on emotion for social acceptance, you wind up voting against your own best interests. When you go to vote, you're supposed to be picking the candidate, putting the agenda before the candidate, and the candidate is supposed to go and deliver the tangibles to you. But this is something most black people haven't learned about because most black people are just still caught up in the social and they're not thinking about what politics is really all about.
I gotta do this plug in right quick. I want everyone to please
Okay.
wait 1 second, Bernard. Please donate to the Cash App at the ticker you see at the bottom, or Google Pay or PayPal. If you see that there, we are hot and heavy tonight with Queen Shakur, King Bernard Johnson, and Shawn James, King BJ. And we actually still waiting for Judge. He was supposed to come in. I haven't heard back from him. But I ask you guys to please donate if you can. Hit that like, share, and subscribe button because apparently they will try to censor and take this video down. So the more likes we get, the more it's seen, and you guys get to hear us talk. Because whether you agree with what I say or not, or any of my panelists, you should agree with the right that we have, with the right for us to say what is on our minds and speak our minds, provided it's not inciting violence or malice or anything of that nature. What we're coming about is our opinions based on our experiences and what we see. And we need voices like this because this is not going to be on mainstream television. Bernard, you had a comment?
Yeah. Also, last night, I don't know if I sent you this, Gavin. I didn't. I'm sorry, but I did post it. Also, last night, Antifa was running through the city of Portland, and they broke into the Democratic Party headquarters. Now, what I told you about the Capitol, Insurgents USA, BLM, Antifa staged that false flag at the Capitol. So also Biden also, so you also got to realize one other thing here, that there could be a series of false flag attacks, like something, because they already hell bent on gun rights. So as we already know, they'll stage a false flag attempt to try to get a different outcome.
Yeah, well, we're going to talk about staging and so forth. I mean, I saw that earlier. I picked up the Louisiana Weekly. Former retired Lieutenant General Russell Honoré is going to be investigating the riots at the Capitol. But when I looked at that video, Queen, I don't know if you saw it, but I saw the police officers actually opening up the gates to the steps of the Capitol to get into the rotunda. I have been to the Rotunda once when I was I'll tell you my age. I was 20 years old, and I remember the security was tight then. We had a group of us going because we were protesting the right to return here in New Orleans after Katrina. So I'm I'm taken aback that number one, it was just one brother that was there, that supposed, fending him off with a baton, and he didn't draw his gun. That was one thing. And I saw also he got promoted as uh, he was escorting Kamala Harris the uh,
Inauguration.
to the inauguration. Yeah, outside on the steps of the White House there. So, or the rotunda there. Yeah, so that was interesting.
Mm-hmm.
You could comment if you wanted to.
Well, I absolutely,
Go ahead. Okay.
and absolutely were opening the gate and allowing them to come in freely. But here's the thing that we need to pay attention to. And I had said this, I've been saying this for months before the insurrection at the Capitol even occurred. I said that the elite are fighting amongst themselves. They are at war amongst themselves. And this has been proven true by their actions. Now we see that not only do the Democrats not trust the Republicans, but at the end of the day, they don't even trust their own military. Now they vetted a guard the other day prior to the inauguration. Now, when you have a country that doesn't trust their own military, that's when you know it's all going downhill. This, what we are witnessing, as far as I'm concerned, is in fact the fall of Babylon. See, all of their egregious and nefarious practices that they have been inflicting upon Black people, some of those things are now, that same energy is coming back to them. And they're having these same problems amongst themselves. What Black people need to do, all of these Sambos on tiptoes and these coonish hens who love to work at the behest of wannabe white supremacists who don't want to help their own Black people but want to look down on us because they are so desperate and so thirsty to have a seat at the table of wannabe white supremacists. Those people need to realize that, as Neely Fuller always says, what does white supremacy do with their tools when they're done with them? They break them. They should see this from all the things that have happened to other coons and buffoons in the past, and even as of late. So that all being said, I don't think anything beneficial, like I said, is going to come of this. At the end of the day, they're at war among themselves, and I think we should just sit back and watch because we don't have anything to do with this, as far as I'm concerned. We have nothing to gain and everything to lose.
All right.
Sister Shakur, you've heard of a guy named Ayo Kamathi before? Irritated Genie, maybe?
No, I haven't.
Okay. Yeah, he was actually saying this. So he was saying this. He was on his brother T West's channel, and he had mentioned who is trying to steal the election. He said that this was their fight to save their republic, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, after that, Dick Gregory told you Donald Trump would be the last president. Now you fall American communist state. Okay. And Riyadh basically, like you said, elites, but Riyadh actually being portrayed probably as enemies of the state right now. Mm-hmm. So when they talk about all this domestic terrorism nonsense, they just talk about anybody who don't agree with them. That's why Gavin is saying they might take down his video. This ain't got nothing to do with some blocking some Trump Twitter page. Because look, if that's the case, then we can just take down all the pornography we see on Twitter. Well,
I'm sorry, but
you start losing the money. Yeah, go ahead.
I was just saying that it's okay. It's okay. I think you got a lagging problem with your stream. But I was saying that Trump was allowed back on Facebook and Instagram a few days ago, after they had banned him. And yeah, on Twitter, what Bernard was saying, I don't know if you all caught this, but I can go on my Twitter and look right now, and you can find people having sex with each other. I mean, you find pornography on Twitter, and I think it's funny that they want to talk about decency and removing all of this rest, but they will allow things like that nature. I mean, goodness, if a kid has a Twitter account, they'll be able to see stuff like that too.
I have a lawsuit against them right now that I just talked about on a live I did at 6:00. They have a lawsuit against them for allowing pedophilia to be on their on their platform and refusing to remove it until the Department of Homeland Security got involved. And I have seen sexual.
This is Twitter?
Yes, Twitter. And I have witnessed my own self a couple of months ago, a very disgusting and vile sexual act performed by members of LGBTQ that was allowed to stay on Twitter. And I've seen other sexual acts on there. So yes, when it comes to talking about decency and, you know, censoring things, they don't censor that, but they will censor speech because they don't want
I got censored on Twitter for actually doing the dozens on a suspected white supremacist. I was making fun of his I was in front of the Queen, but I was making jokes about him. You know, when we were going back and forth about the Cosby thing. And well, I'll just say it. I said, you know, he looked like herpes and take your mama's titty scarf off your head because he had we grown. It's okay.
right.
Yeah.
And
But
they'll put you in Twitter jail, as I call it, for that. Because they banned me on Twitter for 12 hours also for comments that I made. But they don't ban people who post that disgusting, vile, depraved type of videos on there. They don't do anything about that.
Right. Well, and they're just censoring speech. And so that's the main thing we have. Like, I can respect, I know you know Dr. Boyce Watkins because he runs Fly Nubian Queen.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, Boyce talks about how he's on Parler, or he will go to Parler, even though it may be formed by conservatives and so forth. I can respect the conservatives for the fact that they respect everybody's right to say what's on their mind. Mm-hmm. It's mostly the Democrats that are, you know, against if you look very closely, they're the ones that are against the Bill of Rights, the right to free speech, to practice your religion, freedom of religion. I mean, even with this thing too, with Biden and the passing the Equality Act, there are some concerns I have after reading those laws because this could impact the freedom of religion, the freedom to exercise religion. If you're Christian, especially, I noticed there was an attack on that. For instance, I'll just give you an example. When gay marriage was finally legalized in the United States, you know, you have these adoption agencies, and one of the oldest adoption agencies is in the Catholic Church. Well, in Louisiana and also across several other countries, several other states, they actually had to close their doors because by their virtues, they do not support same-sex marriage. They support traditional marriage, and they cannot put children in those environments. That's their right. But because they work with the state says, well, this is now a fundamental right under the 14th Amendment. We can't bring any children here. So they've had to close. So, you know, I'm looking at that. I look at the Second Amendment, as Bernard brought this up. I mean, the Second Amendment, you know, is being attacked. If you go look on Biden's website, if you look at his website where he's talking about gun control, one of the things I did it last week, you guys can look up the video, but I mean, for itself, he talked about limiting trying to create a bill with Congress so that the American people can only purchase one gun a month. Mm-hmm. How's that going to work?
Right. I spoke about that previously also, yes. And also he wants to stop people from being able to purchase guns and ammunition online.
Yeah, but first off, you can't buy a gun online. You can order a gun online, but it still has to go through an FFL dealer. Mm-hmm. But, you know, Shawn is up there in New York. And, Shawn, you talked about this too. The guns, first and foremost, when they pass these gun control bills, does that stop crime?
It doesn't stop crime at all. In fact, when I was in the 80s, we had those gun control laws, and they did nothing. We had 2,000 homicides here in New York in the late 80s, early 90s. So these gun control laws, they just don't work. I mean, we had an assault weapons ban during the 1990s, but we had more mass shootings in this country than ever in the history. And now, again, had nothing to do with gun control because what happens is you have a problem with people. The whole thing is you can put all the legislation you want to do with guns. It doesn't work. I mean, let's look at the mass shootings that places like what happened with Adam Lanza. I mean, he got his guns legally, and it was the shooting didn't happen because he had an illegal, because of the guns. It was because of the single mother household he grew up in. And people keep thinking, oh, we can just keep passing legislation to stop the violence with guns, but the violence comes from the way we've been raising children in this country for the last 50 years. And I went in depth on this in my book, The Man Crisis. And it's something that people don't want to pay attention to in this country because they want to think it's just guns. But we've been dealing with this for 50 years. And we've had guns ever since the 1940s and the 1950s. We had no crime. We had the lowest crime rates in this country because the family was intact. And that's something most people, they don't want to talk about because they don't want to admit that these leftist policies are the thing that created most of the crime and the violence that led to a lot of the gun violence we're having to deal with right now. It's not the guns, it's the way people are raised and the way families have been destroyed in this country, but nobody wants to talk about that at all.
Listen, okay, let me just show this because I want to move on to my next topic, but I pulled this up especially for all of those who are new to the channel, just so you can look for yourselves. One of the first things here, he wants to put America on a path to ensuring that 100% of firearms sold in America are smart guns. If you don't know what a smart gun is, it's basically a firearm that has fingerprint technology that you use. Now, there are some that exist, but a lot of people don't like purchasing them for a bunch of reasons. And the main reason is that if you have an emergency, for instance, let's say you get into a fight, or you're a female, a woman that's getting a fight with a dangerous boyfriend, and let's say he cuts your hand's bleeding. If this is fingerprint technology and you go and try to grab your firearm, do you think that is going to recognize your fingerprints with your blood on it? No. So some people don't use that. You can also look here on his website. He wants to require licensing for purchasing guns, background checks. There's also talk of a gun registry, banning AR-15s, and weapons. And an AR-15 is not an assault. Doesn't stand for assault rifle. It stands for Armor Light. That's the company that made it. But this is all here. Kamala Harris talked about a buyback. So I'm telling you right now, if you have money, like Judge says, focus on bang and not bling. You need to invest in stuff because it's firearms, and go to a gun range and learn safety because you just never know. And this is the end of the online sale of firearms, ammunition, kits, and gun parts. But you just never know when you may need it as far as defending your life and your family.
Might I add that I think that all those proposed pieces of legislation may backfire on Joe Biden, because when I think about that whole smart gun, that can easily be hacked by a tech-savvy kid. And when it comes down to these other ideas he has, he's just going to create a black market for older guns. I mean, the people aren't going to go with the buyback now that they know that the legacy technology is out there and it's going to be tried to be phased out. That's going to lead to people hoarding older guns. So this may blow up in his face really bad, and he just doesn't see how bad it's going to blow up, because on one end, you have the kids who are going to defeat all of these so-called smart guns, because I know how kids are. I was 12 years old. I knew how to program a VCR at 12. And your kids, if they can go and hack jailbreak one of these iPads or iPhones in a Best Buy, they're going to jailbreak one of these weapons. And when you have also the other thing, the older guns, it's just going to create a black market for older illegal weapons. So he's just creating policies that are going to blow up in his face, and it may not end the way he thinks it's going to end.
I want to move into this other topic, though, because one of the things I saw, and look, let me say this because there are going to be people who are watching. If you're in a fraternity or sorority, I'm not knocking that. But are we just happy with symbolism? And I'm saying that to say, I saw the hashtags about Chucks and Pearls, and I saw some of my colleagues and friends on Facebook who are the ladies who are AKAs. They had their banners with the Madam Vice President Kamala Harris, all smiles, and today is a good day. Are we just satisfied with symbolism? Because not what I find, and I'm just mentioning this in general, is that as Black people, I saw nobody I have ever spoken to can tell me exactly anything Biden plans to do. It's most of what they say is that, well, we got Trump out. Trump is gone. Trump is gone. And I saw things. I don't know if you guys can let me share this screen. This is what I saw too, because this caught me. I had to laugh when I see it, but it seems like we go through the same thing. It's an Obama third term. I don't want to get a copyright claim, but this was that's the OJs that were playing for the Biden-Harris inauguration. Of course, they catered to that. But then I also saw this too. Oh, no, not that. Hold on.
God damn it, man. Hey, man, this stuff pitiful, man. How you making me laugh?
Very sad indeed.
No, but this is what I saw too.
Let me see you walk. Now, ho, yeah, I know that you can talk. You talking all that shit, but let me see if you can walk. Let me see you walk.
That's Barack and Michelle Obama. And this is something else I saw. Hold on, hold on, let me loud.
Michelle! Hair, outfit, belt, shoes. I can't even see them. Barack, you look good too. But Michelle! That's all I gotta say.
Okay. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle. Right there.
Okay, I got something to say, man, about this stuff.
Listen, I get that Michelle Obama is a very attractive woman, but I saw Kamala Harris, she was wearing her Chucks. Are we satisfied is that they came dressed up like Nick Fury? That's all we accept?
Let's be real, man.
Right.
Go ahead.
Let the queen
go ahead.
Go ahead.
Let her go.
And then
yeah. Problem with many black people. They are fine accepting symbolisms, and the Democrats know this. The wannabe white supremacists know this. That is why that's all they ever offer us. They don't go after tangibles. When we all said hashtag no tangibles, no vote in 2020, most black people didn't care about any of that. All they wanted was for the Democrats to pander to them. And the Democrats do a good job of it. That's why they sit down and have interviews with people like Cardi B, who's the queen of ratchet. And then they pull hot sauce out of purses, Hillary Clinton, Kamala dancing to Cardi B's music, right? Wearing Chuck Taylors and Timberlands and taking down Confederate statues and all that. And even when George Floyd died, the Democrats went down on bended knee for 8 minutes and 46 seconds. How is that benefiting us? Okay, that may be a nice gesture, but what is that doing to stop the police, the racist race soldiers, from killing unarmed black people? How is anything that they're doing providing anything of aid to us? It's all symbolisms, and yes, many Kunishins and Sambos and tiptoes are absolutely fine with that. And it's just terrible, in my opinion.
All right, Bernard.
Well, you know something that's mighty. This is going to really knock some socks off people's heads. Now, all that buffoonery stuff you saw, right? With Obama and Michelle and all this other stuff, and people talking about Chucks and everything like that, pearls or whatever. But we got to go back and understand something. And Shawn, you're right about what you said. Gun violence is actually higher in the cities with these strict gun control laws than that. In a lot of New York, California, Chicago, Baltimore. But we got to understand something. That when Barack Obama was in office, he played a lot of games with us. And we just go back to history because he came in right after George Bush. And you can go look it up. They are in the same ancestry. But we had a situation where black men were getting killed in almost record numbers by police. I mean, it was going on 2015. I think it was over 1,000. And a lot of times we had 4,000 people killed in 8 years in Chicago. He signed the Blue Alert Law. And that's why when Mekhi Johnson did what he did in Dallas, he didn't go visit Mekhi Johnson. He went to the police officer's funeral of what happened there. That was also another thing trying to pass gun control. A lot of people don't know that. They started talking about gun control again. So, the symbolism stuff really doesn't happen. I think earlier this year, I think they reported that 2020, they said 98 police shootings happened, which is still too many, but we had more violence happen under the Obama administration. And I'm looking at people like saying, I don't care what he has on because when he was in office, he didn't do nothing. I mean, we pay too much of white supremacists. White supremacy, yes, but he's what you call a blackface white supremacist. He did everything that they wanted him to do, plus more. Actually, went overbound. When people were losing their homes, he did nothing about it. So, I mean, you had high poverty rates. I mean, I worked in a prison, jail cell field. No, that's why I said that when you see that pandering stuff, I mean, this is like a buffoon show. I mean, we already got enough buffoons. We got buffoons in the NBA. We got them in the NFL. We got Al Sharpton. We got enough buffoons. What we doing? We should be look.
Don't you be talking about my pastor.
Man. CI7. Google CI7. You'll find out that Al Sharpton the FBI informant. But that's okay. Not even worry about that. But I'm saying that when we go, but this is like a Negro Project 2.0 because really, to be honest with you, and I see Calvin Butts in New York. He's talking about his church trying to pass out vaccinations. Howard University, like a lot of people said, "Woo, Amazon boss former wife gave out all his money to HBCUs." Yes, these HBCUs can be used as vaccination centers, arenas. They're already talking about it. They're saying they're trying to make places.
Well, yeah, Dillard
and they're saying if you don't.
Dillard and Xavier, I did a video about Dillard and Xavier doing that. Sorry, but not interrupt you. Dillard and Xavier issued like a joint letter to be part of the study, and the alumni and the students were not having it. They did not like that at all. Shawn, let me get your thoughts on it. About the symbolism.
Well, when it comes down to all of this symbolism, it just shows how low Black people's self-esteem really is. Because instead of them looking to get tangibles from these government officials, they are just so caught up in their feelings that all they will accept is the attention that they give them. So you have a problem with Black folks, and your politicians exploit it, especially on the left side. They know that Black people have low self-esteem. So instead of making an effort to reach out to them in an effort to offer them tangibles, they know they can get away with giving them nothing except a pat on the head. And the big problem starts with us, because this has to do with our perception of self and our feelings about ourselves. We think that everything is about us getting acceptance from other people, and not understanding politicians are there to serve you, not there to give you attention and validation. So the big problem with Black people as related to symbolism is we keep taking this abuse and thinking that this is normal, but this is abuse because somebody's paying attention to you doesn't mean it's good attention. And you looking for attention from someone is a big problem, because it shows if you don't value yourself, you value these white and non-Black people more than yourself. And this is a big problem with Black people, is that we don't really value ourselves. So we think any little attention any white person gives us is something to get crazy and excited about. And this has been a problem, I say, ever since the days of the civil rights movement, where we had people who were out here marching and protesting, but the minute they started to get attention from whites, they just practically lost their minds. And we started to talk about going into the white stores with integration. And instead of us thinking about getting tangible, equal resources for our public schools, tangible economic resources as related to the taxes we pay, we just go out here and we're thinking about, oh, let's look at how cool this person is, And again, social currency does not have any tangible value and it doesn't allow you to build wealth. Yeah, you got a couple of seconds of attention from a white politician or some celebrity talking about things, but that does not really help you build anything tangible in your community. And sadly, most black people, they are only satisfied with symbolism because we've got a lot of low information black folks out there, low IQ black folks who just want the symbolism, who will take, oh, we're going to donate for diversity. This is the first black so and so working here. And it's like, that's not something we should be pursuing. We should be about building our own and getting our tangible resources we pay into the government back for ourselves, because symbolism means nothing. And if anything, the 4 years of the Obama presidency should have shown you this on a national level. I mean, I learned the hard way in New York when we had David Dinkins as mayor back in the late 80s and early 90s. But symbolism is not something black people should be satisfied with. I'm not satisfied with it because I've experienced it twice in my life with David Dinkins, and first with your David Dinkins and then with your Barack Obama. A symbolic gesture means nothing at the end of the day because it makes you feel good, but doesn't give you anything of substance in return.
Shawn, he's just arrived. Ladies and gentlemen, all rise. The Honorable Judge Joe Brown is here. The court is now in session.
How you doing?
Draw near
All
and
right, I guess I'm in. I'm having horrible connectivity problems with this StreamYard, but that link you just sent, that seemed to have been the charm. How's everybody?
Everybody's doing fine, Judge. Judge, I don't know if you met our sister, Queen Shakur. She has a YouTube channel.
Yes,
All right.
I did
Dear
meet.
lady, how are you?
I'm doing fine, thank you. And I did meet you, Judge Joe Brown, at the
Hey, how you
Foundational
doing, man?
Conference. You gave me the
At
pledge.
the what conference?
The Foundational
FBA.
Conference.
Oh, hey, in Atlanta. Yeah, this summer. All right.
Yes, Judge. We thank you for coming on. We were just talking a lot about everything that's going on from the inauguration 2021, the Chucks and Pearls and symbolism is what we were just discussing. But Queen Shakur had her channel. One of her channels was actually taken off by YouTube as well, since we talked about
censorship. Check out Burning of the Reichstag back in the 1930s in Germany. I then think DC little fiasco a few days ago and see what came of it. And then something that only briefly got reported on in the press, Antifa, BLM, and the communists jointly invading federal property in Seattle, Pacoima, Denver, and Los Angeles, and a few places, and trying to destroy ICE offices. Interestingly enough, in Portland, destroying a Democratic Party office. Antifa in black uniforms, and they were protesting. We didn't want Biden. We wanted real change. That's just symbolism. And then contemplating the stuff that is so much suppressed in the mainstream media about Antifa participation in what happened in D.C. We had an interesting story here that developed. One of our congressmen for the 9th District, he's a white Jewish guy, gay, never been married, 70-some years old, which is like unbelievable for somebody gay. But he represents a district that's 92% black. He's been beneficiary of some hacked election machines, and he was screeching about it's not safe for the president-elect because the National Guard division is providing security in D.C. when polled 72% voted for Trump. So I note in passing those scenes where a number of guardsmen turned their back when the entourage came. Some say they were trying to look behind them to see what the security was going to be and what, if anything, danger was approaching. But I look at what the Japanese troops did when the Americans occupied Germany after World War II. Well, they turned their backs on the American cavalcades that were going down the roadways when they entered into Japan. I don't think they were showing respect, but it is what it is, and not all of them did, and not in every place. In any event, I think, what was it, 3 or 4 cars in the so-called caravan? In my lifetime, I have, and I'm in my 70s, I've never seen anything like that. And did you see the new vice president in her mini skirt instead of a gown? My goodness. And Lady Gaga looking like some gay boy in fashion, circused her up with all that frou-frou on, singing the national anthem. And then you check out the edition of My Land is Your Land. It says, Our land is your land. In other words, come on in. You know, we know there's another big caravan moving in from Honduras trying to race to the border so they can get here in the next 100 days. Come right on in. We got lots of money for you. All the neighbors around here, you know, we had them play bottom bitch and they didn't get shit. They didn't even get to walk in. And all of the drag queens flouncing around up on stage. And first time, it didn't do it for the Civil War when Lincoln got sworn in the last time. Didn't do it for World War I, World War II. Korea was going on. The Nam was going on. Anybody, they had everybody moved out, and where the people of America should have been, they had little flags. And then some big other nation flags. They've never done that. And then a few of the Jackass Party congressmen way off in the background in the yard, on the lawn, you know, sitting on the grass. You know, it was wet. I guess they got their asses wet too, you know, so that's good for them. They kind of like that wet ass stuff. Oh, God. This is what it is. You know what I mean? It was all so fitting. I just said, oh, this is where it's coming to. All these struggles. Even the white folk been struggling for hundreds of years to get shit together, and this is where it gone. The little fucking vanilla cupcakes done took over with some chocolate sprinkles. Damn. I looked at this and said,
Judge, I gotta ask
that thing said, the weak shall inherit the earth. Like hell, the meek won't, the weak won't. God damn it. Little sissy boys prancing around going, oh my God, I'm so relieved. Oh, the boogeyman is gone. Oh my God. Oh my God. The real devil is taking over. Oh, I'm so happy.
Y'all wonder why Judge is not back on TV.
Oh, damn. Like, dude, can't you have some sense? And then speaking of some shit to back it up today, I was waiting in line. They had this social distancing because I forgot to get one vehicle registered. So I had to get 2 of them done. Man, I'm standing out there in line, and all the colored folk got their cell phones blasting music. I said, man, these fools can't even stand in line without playing some music, trying to boogie. What the hell your ass dancing out here in the cold for 2.5 goddamn hours to get in to see DMV? What is wrong with you? Talking about buck dancing. They ain't even got an organ grinder with a little pretty chain around you and a collar around. Oh my. Yes, man. Damn. Have some pride. And that one dude, he was playing some shit. It was just blasting that in where I said, brother, could you kind of turn that down? Hey, man, what's the matter? You ashamed to be in it? I said, look, yeah. I ain't no end, fool. I said, turn that shit down. Would you go? MF, when I get through here, I'm going to kick your goddamn black ass. You just wait and see. There ain't nobody going to see it because I know where all the security cameras is. And I've been taking martial arts for 55 years, MF. I got some shit I want to try. And if you don't turn that shit off, I'm going to whip that ass. Now, that clear enough for you? Who you, man? Are you? Yeah, I'm strapped. You see that sign said no firearms allowed? I can get my ass up in there with this shit I'm packing. It ain't nobody gonna say shit to me. Now you wanna fuck with me? Get me angry.
Judge, I want to ask you, y'all see why Judge is not on TV, huh? Because he talks straight he shoots straight.
I always did this. I even did it to them. I said, stop this shit. If I had it one more goddamn thing, I'm walking off this goddamn set. And none of you son of a bitches in here are high enough on the food chain to fire me. Now, fuck you. Clean this shit up. Well, you don't have to be like, fuck you. Clean this shit up. I'm tired of hearing this.
Judge, I gotta ask you something. And keeping with that topic, and cleaning stuff up. Biden has signed some executive orders. We talked about this, but this was trending, and I left this up on Twitter. This hashtag Biden erases women, about the transgender orders, executive orders that Biden is purported to sign. Did you see that?
Yeah, look here. We need to do an accounting on that. You know what these Rhino trucks are? They were designed by Blackwater before it switched over. Halliburton is the controlling interest in Blackwater. That's the Bush boys. But the damn big ass 11-foot, 12-foot tall trucks that can't be used anywhere but in the Middle East, as no longer as there are no tanks around, because you can see the thing 5 miles away, make a big target. They do get kind of mind-proof for these IEDs that are causing all these boys and girls getting blasted and mutilated in the service. Well, one of them cost 1/2 of the price for a sex change operation for one of these freaks. And not only was the Obama-Tang administration giving sex change operations to the freaks who had actually enlisted, also to their significant others. So I'll be damned if we need to get paid for some self-hating freak who can't stand what he is, has no sense of pride, that we need to be spending that kind of money. Goddamn charlatan act like he is trying to sell the country down the tube, just like the last ass in the jackass party Obama-Tang. We had Bush daddy, then we had Clinton, then we had Bush boy, and then we had Bush bunny, then we had Mr. Trump. Now they got Bush boy butt bagging
Where does Reagan rank?
in there, and then we got the hoe in there. So we got the Hojo administration running shit. You know, it's an insult. Did you see that thing they had up on 60 Minutes where they interviewed Harris, and the women said in response to Harris, like, Pence, he wouldn't even interview a woman without his wife present. The woman said, well, if Willie Brown had his wife present and a few others, you wouldn't be where you are, would you? Talking about hole humping. And you know the fix is on. You know how they always get on everybody because they farted all the time. They had a little bit too much hot sauce or something, and you know they were at some function. They got a fart. You know they talk about them for 50 years. Well, LA Times been covering Harris's hoeing for 30 years, sleeping her way to the top. And they didn't even mention that shit. They tried to suppress it. You know the fix is on. So usually the way it goes is the Nazis or something like them get in, get a little toehold, and then they create an incident, then they censor and take over the press. Well, see, the problem is 50 years ago, the Nazis took over the press, so they ain't got nothing to take over. They took over the government. They did it in reverse. So we got some sweet meat Nazis up in there trying to do wrongful stuff to the people. Really crazy.
Shawn, you had something you want to add?
Good.
I'll let the other guy go ahead. I mean, it's this time.
Bernard, go ahead.
Brother Bernard.
So Judge, hey, good to see you.
Yeah,
So,
one thing I want to add. You know these
20
and 24 and 34 person text things? There is a traitor in the midst of all of that. You remember me, counselor, and you talking yesterday about that star hashtag, 62 hashtag,
Yes,
in the damn area code, which I confirmed, leading back to Fort Lewis, Washington, an Army base and an NSA headquarters. Well,
yes.
I've been cleaning it up, and every damn time I get on one or two of those little 24 to 34 person little text mixtures, gets right back on there. We got a traitor that is turning our numbers over to NSA so Big Brother can spy on us. I read that thing that I got from AT&T and Apple. There's a thing that they have set up so developers can have some other party forward your text to them by just saying forward. And what happens is that they can then get into all of your sensitive information, confidential stuff and everything. And somebody on one of these these circular text thing is a traitor. Because if you get on there, they are using the opportunity to send your number to an NSA station in Fort Lewis, Washington. That's an Army base. AT&T never heard of the number, and they're a phone company. Apple doesn't know any damn thing about it. It's crazy. Big Brother is on our asses.
Well, that means we're doing something right.
It's Revenge of the Nerds, part 29.
That means we're doing something right. If they're coming, Bernard, you wanted to say something right quick. I wanted to.
I didn't mean to cut you off, brother. I'm sorry. I just before that skipped my mind.
Yeah, but go ahead, Bernard. And then
you good, Judge. But and Judge, for purposes of the channel, don't say the F word, not that F word, but you know the
fuck those faggots.
You just use the word skank.
No, fuck them. That's how
they'll
you
take
tell
my
your
channel
enemy.
off.
What can't you say? The motherfucker you can't call out his pejorative name for is your goddamn enemy. You can say redneck, cracker, honky, whatever in the hell, racist, dog, all this shit. You can say nigger, kite, wetback, greaser, all this other shit. You can't say faggot. And they say it. Faggots be
not that
calling
F
us
word,
the N-word and everything else. That's what it is.
Now, I ain't worried about that.
Do to get his freak on behind closed doors. That's their own damn business. But when they start putting that shit out and start recruiting children, oh hell no.
No, Judge. Wait a minute.
Reverse cowgirl get on top day or something or parade. God damn it. What the hell is the point?
He's talking about
right.
He's talking about
voter fraud.
So hold on.
Voter fraud. Right here in this county I live.
So
the Bush boy administration, the Bush buddy administration, the Mr. Trump's administration, they all reported over the last 16 years that the voting machines in Memphis, Shelby County, Tennessee are hacked. The Justice Department under 3 different presidents says there has not been a fair election here since 2000. Well, the county commission got the money in 2012 to replace all these hacked machines. They threatened to sue them in 2019, but they didn't tell the taxpayers. They used the money to buy brand new machines. But for the last 4 election cycles, the new machines have been sitting in the goddamn warehouse, and these son of a bitches here have been using the hacked machines for 4 election cycles after they got the new ones, including the last one.
Okay.
What the hell do you call that?
Well, remember, this is what I was saying, Judge. Remember we were talking the other night, and we were saying that they're trying to make it look like Reed did this, but in all honesty, we had a lower turnout this year than before, and
Antifa,
our voter registration numbers were down.
And the commies up there cutting up the same damn day. They were the son of a bitches that did that shit in D.C. And let me make a prediction. You know what else the bastards are going to do? These Antifa fucks are going to have several shooting incidents, they call, and this bastard in his hole up in the White House are going to use it as a call for more gun control. By the way, the name for this administration, the Hojo administration. Because it's a setup to put the hoe in when the Joe goes.
The
Hojo administration. The hoe gonna be in charge when the Joe goes. And it won't be long, one way or the other.
But what did we say, Jared? What did we say? They're using us as a convenient scapegoat, saying that we have to do it. No, this was on y'all.
Oh, we the turn out Trump. Oh, so We done got in there, turned out Trump. It ain't got shit. Didn't even get any recognition at the damn
That's what I want.
inauguration. The motherfucker didn't even say
Wouldn't
thank you.
No,
And they
stop.
introduced the whole as a person
Megan.
of color. Huh? God damn. And see, we about to take the blame. But you know what? Find one of them mega hats or get you an NRA cap. So when them real white folk, you know, the rednecks, crackerwoods, peckerwood crackers, did we call them, get out there and get to doing their thing? You said, not me. Put that, say, I'm with you.
Judge, what do you think?
Leave that nigga alone over there. He all right. That's a good one over there. Well, he on our side. He's supporting family and manhood.
Judge, why do you think we're so satisfied with just symbolism and not substance?
I always like to dance. Yeah, we sure do. We like symbolism. You know, like American History Week. Yeah, it's all be. They ain't never talk about nobody did shit. They don't talk about Malcolm. They don't talk about Marcus Garvey. They don't talk about nobody. They just be giving us all them buck dancing, singing, and tap dancing folks. Bojangles. Why the hell we supposed to study Bojangles in Black History Month? Well, it's black again. Fuck African American. It went nigga, negro, nigga, negro, no, nigga, no, negro, nigga, colored, negro, black, Afro-American, black, African-American. Now it's back to black. That negro shit came in because the Spanish started bringing in African slaves. They called them Negroes, but Sir Francis Drake and Sir Walter Raleigh, after whom Raleigh, Virginia is named, started getting letters of marque from Queen Elizabeth I so they could be pirates without getting hung if they got caught. And they started holding up hijacking, playing pirate on these Spanish slave ships. So they would take the slaves they captured and sell them bootleg in the Spanish colonies, and they would say, Negroes for cheap, come to the harbor, come to the port. So when they started bringing them to the English colonies, they started going, we've got Spanish Negroes. So that's where the term Negro came in. Negro in Espanol means noir en français, or black. So that's where we got the Negro bit from. But you see, ain't nothing we chose. So if you're going to get a color and call them white folk, you can call us black folk. By the way, instead of BLM, how about BFM? Black Folk Matter, not that black lesbian mania shit.
Yeah, please donate, because I will not have a dime from Screw Tube. That's correct.
Fuck Screw Tube. We need to get these some bitches taken over. We need to have a private derivative act for violation of FCC codes, restriction of the First Amendment, and do the same thing these cupcakes did when they sued Trump 3 years ago in federal court, saying he couldn't block them on Twitter.
That's right.
So the federal court said, since it's a public forum and people have First Amendment rights and they want to exercise them, then Trump couldn't interfere with them by blocking his private personal account. He could only mute them so he didn't have to pay attention. Well, damn it, if the forum's got to accommodate public matters, since it is a monopoly of the airways that the people of this country own, we need to get together and file a collective action against these son of a bitches and claim monopoly and get them to impose the antitrust strictures. Remember, how many damn phone companies do we have now? 45 years ago, there was only one. Mm-hmm. Bell Telephone. They had subsidiaries, Pacific Bell, Southern Bell, Central Bell, but it was just one phone company. They knocked them off. You can knock off Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, YouTube also. A bunch of fascist Nazis.
Indeed, we have a bunch of fascist Nazis. And for those that don't know, Judge has always been a guest on the show, so I always know he's not going to come with a filter.
I'm too goddamn old to worry about shit. I'll take the heat. Nobody else got it. Fuck it.
Hey, man, what's wrong with it, man?
I need some excitement, goddammit. Fuck you, big brother. Your mama probably the last time you gave some dick to a woman.
Wow. Hey, Judge, I like when you fired up, man. Go ahead, man. It's good.
You know, you can cuss. I didn't know you used to cuss like this, but I noticed you can cuss, play live porn. You ever seen the porn shit they play on?
Yeah,
Twitter?
we were just talking about it.
God damn, you can't say shit about a faggot, but you can have full two dicks up one's ass on Twitter.
Judge, I want to show you this though, because we talked about symbolism just before I switched subjects. But I wanted to ask your
By the
thoughts.
way, that's their right. They want two dicks up their ass, their business, you know. But please don't show it to the kids. They can't buy whiskey. They can't buy tobacco. They can't sign contracts. They can't consent to a medical procedure. But all of a sudden, we got to move afoot by this jackass party so they can consent to getting their dicks cut off and chemically neutered.
Judge, what do you think of this when you saw like the OJ's doing?
Oh, that was a bunch of shit. Goddamn. Where is the chain in the organ grinder? You know, the motherfucker got one of them wind around organs they used to do. Buck dancing Negroes.
Oh my God.
Goddamn. Look like a fool. Who that in the middle? Uncle Remus?
No, that's Papa Levert, Eddie Levert.
Look like Uncle Remus to me, acting like one. That song is ridiculous. I heard it. You sent it to me. They're so happy. They's like that boy on CNN. What's his name? Fad Jones. He was so
Was he crying? Did he cry?
When
Anybody
he was
know?
just crying because Master Biden done run. Oh, I'm so happy.
Did he cry? We were taking bets.
Weezen show done accomplished. Oh Lord, I've been waiting for this day all my life. Oh Lord, Master Biden done won.
Judge, was he crying last night? Because I didn't
cry. That's why we call it Crying Negro Network.
No, he cried yesterday. I'm
asking his ass up to make some tea out of it. Then they'll go squeeze Don Lemon's booty in there if he can be spared from his white husband, and then go get Anderson Cooper to put lots of sugar in that shit. And you know what is so ironic about this? There ain't never been anybody Jewish up in the White House until now. They got the first bitch gonna be the Jew. You know, when they get up in there, when Kamala gets over, when Biden takes his racist ass out of there, come Queen gonna be up in there as president, and he gonna be first bitch. Ain't that a bitch for them poor Jewish folk? Man, first motherfucker, one of y'all up in there. You blew it with Bernie Sanders. You done gave that motherfucker up, man. He had a chance. Now you got a motherfucker in there playing bitch. God damn. Ain't y'all ashamed, man? I think we ought to be ashamed. We still ain't got the first black person that's an American black person up in no goddamn White House either. The furthest we've ever got is the Supreme Court. We had a great man, Thurgood Marshall, and then something else in there now.
Clarence Thomas.
Uncle
Let me.
Uncle Thomas's cabin. Yeah, okay.
Let me show. We actually got footage of Van Jones at CNN headquarters. I think
he was crying. Oh, that was so touching.
There he is.
Where's this little Negro ass now?
Judge, it's a joke. That's T.O. That's what I was thinking.
That's not him, is it?
No, that's T.O. That's a joke.
Thomas looked like he'd be sucking on things too often.
Hey, Jill, they Van Jones from Memphis.
Was they?
They from Memphis.
Clarence Thomas.
I don't remember.
Van Jones from Memphis, Judge.
Been there 50 years. I don't remember him. Glad I don't. By the way, you hear what New York Supreme Court did? They held that calling somebody gay is no longer an act of slander or libel. One of them motherfuckers gets his ass busted out for calling the wrong person gay. Yeah, that sure. I just went crazy. Well, I'm sorry, sir. He called you gay. That's no longer an insult. Like the shit name, motherfucker. Called your mama's ass gay. Shit. See what
This is
you don't think you like that shit.
Judge, this is Van Jones. He had his hands in prayer. Let me see if I can see the picture.
Van Jones Fonz. I saw something about that.
Yeah, they didn't put the picture up, but Tariq Nasheed was saying they were taking bids to see if he had cried and when he was gonna cry.
Yeah, well, you know what? Bubba, goddamn boy, you see that Van, what's his name, Johnson, boy, they got up on CNN. I'd bid good money when they put that boy up on the auction. I could have him around entertaining all my guests. During the winter time when everything be slow, Jesus Christ, we can make a lot of money off that buck. Sure enough, he been fixed. He ain't been fixed, right? Been spayed? Yeah. He ain't got no balls. I guess he's safe to have around the house. Sure enough.
Ron said Van is from Jackson, Tennessee. His dad is from Memphis, from Orange Mound, Maine.
I see that's from our good brother, Ron Hurd. Yeah, my mother's from Jackson, Tennessee. I hate the fact that slimy, sleazy slave Negro is from Jackson. Ain't that some shit? That's a sleaze motherfucker, you know?
Well, let me ask you a question? You're having a question.
Yeah, shoot.
There's one more thing of symbolism. The other day, and I don't know if anybody saw it, maybe Queen Shakur saw it, or maybe Shawn James, but they had a Black Lives Matter girl with dancing in front of the Martin Luther King statue in red.
Sleaze shit. And what about the crazy little fat hog, the hippo that goes around strips naked and paints herself up with gold grease? Mm-hmm. The ugly one that looks like she ought to be. Damn.
No, that's Patrice Cullors.
That's but what about the fat hog-looking one that smears herself down with gold grease and stands naked out on the street or in front of a city hall or in front of a precinct station?
Y'all see Van praying?
Whatever that hog ass is. And then the other one you sent me was playing comedy, talking about comrades and we must rise. Damn. Didn't even say sisters, just say comrades. Damn, she wearing a permanent strap on or something? I mean, honestly, you can't even do comedy these days. See, Richard Pryor would have been doing this shit real good, even though he kind of went to the dark side himself, they tell. The wife backed that claim up. Well, you know, these Hollywood celebrities, you never can tell. You ought to be careful who you idolize. But anyway, he talks some good shit. But I bet he would have had a good time. And if they hadn't censored and blackballed Ron Chappelle, Dave Chappelle, he probably could have had some good words to describe this. Look at this old heifer flagging the flag. That's like burning one.
Let me play it. Let me just play it. So this is what Black Lives Matter put out.
Then she go crawling up that step. No, I don't want none. It ain't attractive to me.
So this is what they put out for. This is what they put out for Martin Luther King Day.
I know. I saw it. Just blasphemy. At least they could have put a fine one out there that knew how to work.
And she don't even have hands.
Watch it when she goes up the staircase. Now watch this. Master, could I please come up inside the big house? Please, could I have some extra cornbread, please? You know what gets me focusing on my butter biscuits? That ain't the term.
Now this was for Martin Luther King Day, right?
I know. In front of the Lincoln Memorial. Lincoln's soul probably saying, you know what, I should have left him on that goddamn plantation. I never should have listened to that proclamation.
As the greatest demonstration for freedom in the history of our
nation. Now this is why we don't get taken seriously. because it's a
That's like
every
them
day
damn fools
is a
today
joke.
playing all that music, waiting outside in the cold to get in, goddamn, to DMV.
Now the performance is by a woman named Shayna Lynn,
You ought to
and
be shamed. Called her Shama Lynn.
right, her name is.
And you know what's so bad? She can't even quirk worth shit.
No. Shawn, you did a video on this. You want to add something?
Yeah, in my video, I said somewhere in heaven, Dr. Martin Luther King and his wife are face palming at this, especially Coretta Scott King, because this is just not a behavior that a respectable black woman would participate in. I mean, I remember when sisters had class and style and wanted to present a positive image out here, but instead, over the last 50 years, we've gotten more and more worse, and now we've got this clown up here thinking that this is a way to honor Dr. King and honor the freedom that he fought for black people to get. I mean, it's just to make a mockery of Dr. King and everything he worked for, and even worse, makes a mockery of what Coretta Scott King represented. The whole thing was absolutely disgusting to watch. I did a whole video on it, and I just shook my head at this because I'm like, your Black Lives Matter really they're making black people look bad with this type of stuff. And I listened to the things that she was saying that, oh, this is about empowering and taking back things sexually. But how do you take things back by participating in degrading behavior? I mean, it just was ridiculous.
Well, look at what she's saying. Read. I'm sorry to interrupt you. Just pause 1 second. I want to stop on what you're saying and just look at what you're saying. Oregon, Washington is a declaration of freedom and healing, advocating for the decolonization of over-sexualizing black women's bodies to reclaim an ancient sacred dance of liberation and wellness, sampling the I Have a Dream by the great Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. delivered during the March on Washington for Jobs and Freedom. The shame of traditional African practices is not ours. Trauma is kept in the body. Shake it off.
That's
You're doing that with
a bunch of incoherent babble. As I just read it. So I sat there, I said,
Sounds like she needs psychotherapy.
So I looked at that and I said,
she needs an ass.
I looked at that and I said, how do you how do you talk about this as an African dance when twerking was never a part of African culture at all? That makes no logical sense. And then she's sitting talking about decolonization of over-sexualizing black women's bodies. Well, you're sexualizing a black woman's body.
You want to go shake your ass in front of national monuments and you say what you're trying to do is desexualize black women. If you don't want to be called a hoe, don't act like a hoe.
Absolutely.
Queen,
we salute sluts instead of shaming sluts. And look how far it has gone. Instead of celebrating heroes, we make a street walking hoe who admits she used to drug her tricks so she can rob them, a celebrity, and make her a spokesperson for black folk. Mm-hmm. We take another one who ain't even black and she amateur porn queen hoe, and we make her a celebrity and a spokesperson for black folk. What the hell is wrong with us? Right. Boy, y'all done lost your mind, I swear. Your grandmama used to talk about Negroes who done lost their mind. Colored folk lose their mind real easy. They're under a lot of stress being colored. You got to be careful. You lose your mind real quick when you's colored. You better beware. And don't be doing them drugs. That be accelerating the process. You get your mind lost at supersonic speed. Damn.
Yeah. Queen, you got something to say?
I'm just shocked and appalled at that broad that was twerking on Martin Luther King Day. I did show that on my live, and that's the problem. We have all these women out here disrespecting themselves, and then when we say something about them, criticize them, they act like we're supposed to be ashamed of doing it. I had someone the other day sent me a DM because I did a video about the black women who were on that racist platform called Ghetto Gaggers. Okay, where they perform all these disgusting sex acts with white men, and they're called, the N-word and all of this stuff or whatever. So I did a broadcast about that, and one of the people who participated in it had the nerve to come in my DMs and go in on me talking about I don't care about black women. And then said that she was forced into it. My thing is, if you were forced into it, why did you continue to do it? And why are you trying to defend it? Right? So I just think that kind of stuff is real crazy. And it's a lot, unfortunately, it's a lot of black women who are acting like Coonish Higgins. They love their zaddies. They love these white men and they uphold white supremacy. And so this is what we get. You know, they're trying to, we've already had a history of the white supremacists over objectifying black women, sexually objectifying black women and disrespecting us. But now the sad thing is black women, many of them are doing it to themselves.
That's like we had a whole history of
that's like
black
Amber
men
Rose
being
doing the
dissed
slut
by the
check walk.
system, and now they're doing it to themselves. Black males, not men.
Well,
Black
that's like
females, not black women. By the way, some of them ought to tend more to the business of being good mamas instead of slut mamas.
That's right. Absolutely.
right. Well, you know, that reminds me when I look at stuff like that and think of that, what you're saying. Remember Amber Rose a few years ago? She used to have something called the slut walk that she did. And what's funny is that she talked about how women's bodies are demonized, you know, are sexualized, and we demonize women, and we are we don't condone sexual assault. We are marching against all of this. You know, she went one of those women, her and Cardi, you know, she was one of those women that was shaming Bill Cosby and stuff like that. But you all are acting like fools, basically promoting your bodies in a sexual objective way, and then wonder why men, you know, holler at you or call you hoes or things of that nature. You know, it's, you know, you entice that. It's like the Pavlov's dog where you add raw meat. The dog is hungry. The dog is going to go there. I might be mistaken the Pavlov's dog.
The bell. Feed
Bell is
them,
the
and every
Pavlov's
time you ring
dog.
the bell,
Yeah.
they salivate after a while.
Right. That's it.
I got something to
With
say.
us, we got to break
Gavin.
it. When they ring the bell on us, we got to dance.
I got something to say to Gavin and Shawn. Well, Gavin, you about more so my age, I think, because I'm 33. So I remember 2005 when I just got out of high school. You go to club and stuff, and you know, maybe it was like going on, but then after Obama got elected by 2012, this thing got really, and then they started promoting more of these female rappers, and that also goes into the LGBT nonsense too, because they actually kind of go hand in. The feminist movement, the LGBT goes hand in. When they talk about women's rights, they trying to include all that intersectionality stuff in there, right? And then also the intersexuality, like across all, like black, white, Hispanic, and then they show the LGBT. They put it all together in we all in this together nonsense. But what I'm saying is they started promoting these people, and now, I mean, Trump comes in and they get knocked back, but that only made them come back strong. And then that's why you have people like Cardi B. I mean, I'm even taking it as far as LeBron James putting a wig on in a progressive, or we can go to Dwayne Wade, we can go to anybody, but Billy Porter.
Did you see that
red, black.
Talking about Wade wearing those dresses, calling
Did you
them
see that
kilts?
picture? Did y'all see that picture? No. Dwayne Wade and Gabrielle Union, they took the picture, and Dwayne Wade was behind her buck naked. And I'm wondering who took the picture.
That's what I was wondering.
Who took
that
the
boy
picture?
did. That's why he's so big a freak. Boy wearing dresses and shit, and his daddy walking around with a kilt on. He calling it a kilt, but it's a dress. Bullshit.
But what I'm saying,
we know where that shit don't fall too far from the tree.
Oh, I will say this: that they have to, as what we call, do some things of the nature of we gotta like deprogram, man, because this stuff is really like poison, and it's getting like we were saying, like me and Judge might switch them on Twitter. I've been putting like 4 times on Twitter. They didn't make me new accounts, but Judge. Well, yeah, right. You're right, brother. We went from Sister Soldier Child and Bill Clinton to Biden, yeah, and a Latina Cardi B.
I mean, I
but
remember Queen
rehab,
Latifah before she went mainstream. When she did her
yeah.
UNITY and all of that stuff. Yeah.
But with me, I was just saying how this thing, and we got the wonderful queen in the room, and I'm sitting there saying to myself, "Hey, I know Miss Shakur ain't signed up to see this nonsense that they doing. I mean, they really, and then it's not everybody doing that. Just like I said, there's a lot of people that didn't vote. But when you talk about it, you did it. You make us scapegoats, and you always put the onus on us because they associate with. No, I'm not responsible for your foolish actions. You did this to yourself. When you see that Black Lives Matter video, no, you did this to yourself. We really have to we have to start saying, look, we got to pull out and separate from these people. They are dangerous. Look, she made a good point earlier. What happens with bootlicks? They get used up. Let them get used up, and no, you cannot come back here looking for sanctuary because we don't want you anymore.
Right.
You know what? Queen Shakur did not sign up to be put in the same group with slut Cardi B, slut Kim Kardashian, and slut Kamala Harris. See, she's got dignity.
That's right.
Right. Well, you
These
know,
people slept their
Kim
ways to
K
where they're
is
supposed to. Well, men are always dogs anyway. Yeah, but there's a big difference between men and women.
That's
Men
right.
and women are not the same. We are of equal value, but we are not the same. We just like what's good for a man is good for a woman. No, it's not.
Right.
Because bottom line is you can't get knocked up but by one guy at a time. So if you don't know who the hell it is, he doesn't know who the hell he is, whether he's the one, he's not gonna take care of you worth shit.
That's
So
right.
the bottom line is if you're a real man, you take care of what's yours. So you can have 10 women if you can afford to take care of them. But I mean, it's no longer like that. That's the way it used to be. But I mean, the bottom line is there's no approbation on a guy having some accidents, but there are burdens on the woman who has one or two accidents and 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 by different baby daddy. What you call that? This ain't that crap on what's his name? That daytime TV shit.
Ellen.
Where I know he's the daddy.
Maury
Oh, Maury Povich.
Yeah, Povich. Well, Tamika, this is the 5th man you've accused of being the daddy. I know he's the daddy. Ain't nobody else. Well, we have the results. Guess what? He's not the daddy. Ah! Well, if it's not that one, then it's this. Damn.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
women,
You be on
you
there
set yourself up for
on that
Maury
10 time
Povich
on the show.
special if you try to play man. And see, there's the thing.
I had a friend going Maury, Judge.
What's that?
I had a friend going Maury back in the day. I think he said you got paid $500.
How much they pay him?
I think he said $500 to be on the show.
Man, you submit yourself. You better go talk to your homeboy. He submits himself to that kind of shame for 500 ducats, man. He better go check himself. I tell you what, you give me 500, I'll piss on your ass. That kind of shit. Damn.
Yeah. Well, by the way, I mean Kim Kardashian. She's divorcing Kanye, from what I heard. So I hope Kanye.
Kanye Kardashian is getting divorced from Kim.
That's what the rumors are. So I hope he got
brother just shamed himself.
prenup.
By the way, I went to the same barber that her first husband, the basketball player, went to. Man, it was wild up in there. Hey, man, I don't want to say nothing, man. Oh, hell, I'm going to say it, man.
Which one?
Kimmy's first husband,
that
the
wasn't
basketball
her first
player.
Chris
I went to the same barber he did. Man, get up in that barber shop. You get rough, man, ferocious. Like, man, I don't want to say nothing, man. I mean, I know you, man, because I'm up in here same barbershop, man, but I'm not gonna lie, I had to pay $4.95, man, on Direct TV, man, and watch, man. You ever seen that shit, man? Don't it make you feel bad when Ray J was coming all over your wife's face and all over her ass? Man, don't you feel no shame, man? You strong dude, man. Hey, man, you right about that, man. I gotta commend you, brother. You should be able to stay. And when she was sucking him off and swallowed, man, man, you gotta really love that woman, man. Love is great, man. You know.
Yeah. You know,
Dude
Shawn.
told everybody he couldn't take it no more. He was out of that shit. After spending $6 million on a ring for that slut. Damn.
Yeah. You know, Shawn does I see him there. I just thought about that because he does a lot of videos about relationships, and Shawn does he always likes to make light of or make fun of the Prince, was it the Meghan Markle and Harry? And when he does that, he does the British accent with all of his videos when he does that on there. And
I say, you know, the princess and prince are having a very good time today. It is remarkable, you know. She's made such astute changes in their milieu. It's
well,
such
you know,
an outlook.
right. Well, you know, Judge, it was clear that she is black because it's black girl magic because she made everything he had disappear, even his title.
What the hell was wrong with her ass? She had her ass a title and a guaranteed
Well, I think they didn't get along.
into 7-figure income for the rest of her dumb ass life. I want to extend my horizons and be myself. You dumb heifer.
Shawn,
You
could you
took
do
the man, ripped his ass off. Now you probably gonna divorce him for some basketball player. And he gonna be left hanging, and you gonna be left hanging, and your ass is a dumb money. What the hell's wrong with you? You
could you
could
do
have
the
been walking around. I am the princess. Address me appropriately. Now you just another fool. Done run off and got you a white boy.
Shawn?
Oh,
And I've seen her old baby pictures. I've seen them edges. I saw a bit. Shawn, could you do the accent, please, just once?
What, the Duchess of Rochester, Meghan Markle, and Cuckoo
Yes.
Prince Harry?
Yes, see a video.
Yes, I make videos about the Duchess of Rochester, Meghan Markle, and Prince Harry, who has been completely emasculated. And I use the British accent on them for those classic videos, but I don't do it all. I only do it for those videos exclusively.
I say, old fellow, you know, you're quite right there. You know, I do have my positions
Exclusively.
against the royalty and those of the peerage from associating with such commoners. You know, it is just not our people, you know.
Oh, pip pip, oh chappos. I appreciate your exclusivity, Mr. James. That was a little Spanish there. I messed it up. Pip pip.
Mark,
there's
you know,
really
it's
no
just not
numbers.
quite right. You know, they're 14,000 miles away. It's probably about 20, you know, but we down under here, we got to depend upon some substance and, you know, a little centralization of the calcium and all that. Got one of them bents there, just turn it all out into the outback. You know, you can bring it down here and get rid of all quietly, you know, don't get lost amongst the dingoes, you know. All right, but Mark, you got to get back and get on your crown, your throne, boy.
That woman owes me 5 dozen chocolate bars. The witches. Oh, so
Bitch better be careful. She ain't gonna have her payday bar in her mouth long.
well, you know what, Judge? I think she wanted to leave because she didn't want to end up like Harry's mother. You know, if
You
she gets
mean
to
have an affair with the
Diane.
chauffeur and get wiped out in the tunnel? Oh man, wow.
Wasn't the chauffeur? No, her boyfriend.
You
I
know
thought
what?
the
That's like
husband.
being a Catholic president in the United States.
Yeah, yeah, that was JFK.
You know,
that
that
was
did the last and the only one before this one.
JFK.
Yeah, Lee Harvey.
Yeah, except Biden's a globalist.
Oh, that's deep.
But no, I've always thought with Diana that was because I know that Dodi Faye was a Muslim, right? Dick Gregory even talked about it, and that the Queen didn't want that in the Buckingham Palace. I heard she was pregnant.
Ooh.
Diana. So Megan is staying away from Paris. You notice that she went right to Los
Royalty
Angeles.
transgressed upon by the Middle East. The Middle East visits Buckingham, you know.
Yeah, somebody. I'm just looking at the chat. They said, "Wow, ooh, they fooling in, and the Queen Goddess cheeks are going to be sore for so much tonight."
Oh my God. She got herself one of those supersized, you know, what do you call them? Mr. Goodballs, you know?
Yeah, I saw.
Well, look,
Go ahead, Bernard.
I want to ask Judge a question because, and I want to get back to this thing because people were talking about, and this goes back to Gavin's question about symbolism. So I see people talking about, oh, you know, we got this wonderful AKA, and she's got pearls and chucks and all this other nonsense. I'm like, look, man, look, if you read that
AKA,
website, it's
I
poison.
talk about her. My
The
mother
website
got
is
married on
poison.
the line in 1934. She's an ivy behind the wall. These damn fool hens don't even know their black history. They're running around. We got the first black Greek in the White House, in the office. No, you don't, you damn fool. Alpha Phi Alpha beat your ass by 50 some years. And what we beat your ass on was a bald headed white boy from Minnesota. He was LBJ's vice president and the Democratic Party candidate for president, but he lost to Tricky Dick. 1968, his name was Hubert Humphrey. Got made as an undergrad and then re-upped again as a grad. Badass white boy. I had to go meet Big Brother Humphrey when I was a pledge one time. So Big Brother Humphrey was a big ass bald-headed white boy. So we got you beat, but it also goes to show you don't have to be black to be in Black Greek organization. So happy fool, happy you.
And
You
Kamala
got the
Harris is not
wrong
the
credit.
first
You can't even
woman of
claim for. Oh my God, the men beat your ass on that one first by what is it, 1964?
Humphrey
That
was in
is
'64. Yeah,
57 years, 56 years, 57 years. So we
yeah.
got you beat, girls.
What? Right. Well, what I would say too is
And you
also that
ain't
the
even
first
got a real
president of
black woman. You got a Tamil Hindu Brahmin cast with a little Irish thrown in. There ain't no what they call Negroid in her.
well, she actually, and she's not the first vice president of color. That distinction belongs to Charles Curtis, who was Hubert Humphrey's vice president. He was what they
No,
call.
Hubert Humphrey was vice president.
I'm sorry, not Hubert Humphrey. I meant Calvin Coolidge.
Calvin Coolidge. Well, he had just a little. See, what happened, and most people don't even know this, is because so many of these rich Southern plantation owners lost all of their legit kids in the Civil War. Their properties and holdings, monies would have been is cheated to the state. Counselor, you know what that is. So rather than have the money as cheat to the state, they set up some protocols so the sons they had by their favorite mulatto, quadroon, and octroon mistresses could be official white folks. So every one of the former 11 Confederate states had rules on the book until the late 20s that read something like anyone with no more than X amount of known colored ancestry may apply to any court in the state, and if sponsored by two known white sponsors as to good character, and if to the appearance of the judge or chancellor the individual appears white, they are entitled to an official decree of Caucasian status. So in the 30s, they changed to something like anyone not heretofore declared Caucasian with any known colored ancestry will be considered colored for purposes of these statutes. By the late 30s, all of these states had switched over to anyone with any known colored ancestry will be declared colored for purposes of this statute. But you see, you can't have an ex post facto situation in America. If they got declared Caucasian, that meant they stayed that way. It's race judicata. It's already been decided. So even if they change the statute, you can't go back and compromise somebody with it. So people who got declared to be white or Caucasian by court decree up until the late 20s were white folks. So you got a lot of good quality white folk now. You got a lot of black. In fact, the typical American white person has between about 8 and about 26% recent African ancestry. Matter of fact, you got a lot of people that look black that have the same black ancestry, and most of it is something else besides black. But the genes that express the color were absorbed. You also have a lot of black Americans who have recent Chinese ancestry. We don't talk about it, but
James
after
Brown
the
even
Civil
said he
War
had
was over,
Chinese
they brought
ancestry.
these Chinese coolies in to work on the railroads in the South, not the West. They didn't have any women folks, so there were all these freed slave women, and I guess they liked black nookie. So a lot of recent black Americans have really high percentages of Chinese. So I guess we ain't got nothing to worry about if the People's Republic of China gets in charge. Maybe they'll treat us with more respect than the folk do now around here.
Wow.
I heard James Brown even said that he had Chinese ancestry, so that's very
Yeah.
interesting.
I mean, it ain't
Queen,
that
you,
far back. It's like one of my grandfathers was born in 1852. So here I am. That's grandfather. So
yeah,
it's easy for somebody's great grandfather, or whatever it may be, to be somebody that's Chinese. So somebody like me, you may have a grandfather that's Chinese that nobody in the family wants to talk about. Uncle Ching, great granddaddy Ching.
Queen,
See, Lee, names like that,
yeah,
not just Robert E. Lee, but Chinese use Lee a lot too.
yeah,
Sung Lee.
Harry Lee, yeah, like down
Well,
here.
Harry Lee is Light Horse Harry Lee. He was a cavalry general in the Revolutionary War. His son was Robert E. Lee, leader of the Confederacy, the Johnny Reb General. By the way, interestingly enough, he freed all his slaves. That's where Arlington Cemetery is built on. He used to own that property, or his wife did, and he acquired it
Robert
when
E.
he
Lee.
married his wife. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Arlington was his family home.
Wait.
Well, his wife's family home, but in those days, the guy got the woman's properties when he married her. So,
sure.
Robert E. Lee used to call where they's been all these American service people home. And they did it kind of as a slur on him, like, fuck you, you went and played traitor. We gonna bury all our dead where your ass used to live. Now come back.
Queen, what do you have to say on the subject? On that?
At the end of the day, look, I feel like as we have been talking about all the symbolisms and everything, too many black people are caught up in that. And quite frankly, I feel like many of our people are not going to do anything, as far as back for their rights. And I don't mean going out here with guns blazing or anything like that, but I mean as far as demanding that we get something that we're owed, that we get what we deserve. They're not going to ask for reparations. They're not going to ask for justice, legislation to be passed, any of those things that are tangible. They're going to take whatever has been given and just go along with the program, go along to get along, because too many of our people are just indoctrinated into this white supremacist way of thinking.
Hey, wait, excuse me. Fuck you. I ain't tipsy. Kiss my goddamn ass, motherfucker. Say it to my face.
Woo!
Talking shit, you lame motherfucker. Get real.
Oh, Judge.
Tell them, Judge.
He said your
Sorry,
mind is
ma'am.
intact.
I just had to straighten that shit up.
Queen, finish your.
I had a drink
Wow.
with Negroes.
Yeah,
You see, motherfucker talk real
Wait, Judge,
shit.
let us finish.
You supposed to be high according to these motherfucking ignorant, lame ass colored folk. Don't know what the fuck time it is. Now fuck you, punk. And if you want to find me, I'm listening. Fuck you.
We're gonna take it for tonight.
Get your ass whipped by a 70-something-year-old man and be really embarrassed.
Okay, we'll end the show on that note.
I couldn't,
but
man.
Queen,
Look. I
it's
couldn't
all
Let
right.
her
do it in
finish.
South Central
Let her
that way.
finish.
As I get
Queen,
older,
finish your
that shit
point.
be coming out. Queen, I didn't mean to interrupt you. You were talking about symbolism. Please continue. I just couldn't let that shit pass.
I don't blame you. But no, so as I was saying, I just really think that our people, many of our people, especially Christian Black people, that have been indoctrinated, and I'm not knocking anyone's religion. If you're a Christian, that's fine. But the thing is, a lot of Black people who are Christians allow their religion to keep them oppressed and complicit in their own genocide and their own oppression, because they continuously want to turn the other cheek. They want to offer forgiveness for people who don't even ask for their forgiveness, and people who continuously do all types of wicked, nefarious things to us, and who tell us to be nonviolent, but they're always violent. They want us to act as though, we should be forgiven. Everybody's in this together, and be so grateful, that they're trying to show us some form of pandering, nothing beneficial. And the thing is this: at the end of the day, many of our people are just not going to wake up. We can tell them something, we can lead them to the water, but we can't make them drink. A lot of them are just so busy trying to be caught up with the system of white supremacy. They want to have a seat at the table. They enjoy having white people praise them and pay them attention, be nice to them, say things to them that they, think are kind or whatever. But they don't care about the fact that in the interim of all of this, they're not going to give you anything substantial. They're not going to do anything that's really going to help you. And all they're going to do is just give a lot of talking points, a lot of rhetoric, but none of that is going to help us in our cause. And as long as we continue to take whatever they dish out, we're never going to get anywhere. I mean, all our Black people do, for example, when Black people are killed unarmed by the police, Black people get out there and march and protest and all of that. That has not helped us ever. I don't know why we continue to do it. All it does is give the police an excuse to torture, humiliate, and kill and harass and target Black people. It doesn't do anything to stop them from killing Black people. It doesn't do anything because they've been doing this since the 60s, the 50s, and it's never done anything. The only thing that has ever helped us is boycotting, because all the oppressors care about, as I always say, is blood and revenue. The only thing they care about are their lives and their money. And as long as we continue to cater to them and give them money and spend our time, buying all of their expensive name brand items and just giving our money to them as soon as we get it, then that's what we'll continue to get. It's nothing, because they're getting rich off of us, and we're the poorest people at the bottom of the totem pole. So we're actually giving them generational wealth. And I think that's just also ridiculous. But like I said, some Black people, you can't tell them anything, and they're clearly not going to change.
Have you seen all these people that lined up for these new tennis shoes recently?
Yes.
Take your bucks and buy bang, not bling. You're going to need it. Learn how to use it. By the way, every time I see this scene going on right now, I had this vision where I see a chain link fence. On one side, restrained by the chain link fence, can't get out. There's some little lapdog yapping away while there's some wolves outside. They roam freely. They can feed themselves. They hunt. And the lapdog has to have massa open up the kibbles and bits to feed him. The one thing I found is interesting, I've never seen a dog do this, but I have actually witnessed wolves climb chain link fences. So I'm looking at this lapdog inside his massa's or her massa's chain link fence, yapping away at the free wolves that used to were his ancestors. I'm saying, you know what? What would you do, little mouthful of snack food, if one of your ancestral type decided to climb that chain link fence and get your ass? What you gonna do? But it reminds me of that. We get colored folk who are at the mercy of their white masters, they can't make it on their own. They have no concept of their financial power collectively because they don't think collectively. They talk about unity, but they talk about it in a way that invites in traitors and treasoners, like Counsel and I were talking about with this thing about Big Brother getting into your phone and hacking it.
Mm-hmm.
But they don't get it that they leave themselves completely at the mercy of these people, and they feel empowered if they can wag their tails, loll their tongues out, look like happy dogs who want to get their bellies rubbed and ears scratched. They don't get it. And that's what I see, these little lap dogs yapping on the wrong side of the chain link fence. And black folk are on the outside of the chain link fence. The colored are still on the wrong side on the plantation. And the problem is that the gate's wide, well, unlocked. They just don't know how to open the lock and, well, the latch, not the lock, and get out. So we're stuck on the plantation 160 years after the 13th Amendment that outlawed that. See, slavery is in the mind. You can take the collar off of a dog, but you still have a dog. You can take the collar off the slave, but as long as it thinks like a slave, it's still a slave.
Right.
And that's what we need to learn. We have to free our minds. And when you have loyalty to a party that has not done a damn thing to you, instead of being an independent and selling your vote like every other American in this country does, you're still a slave. When you get caught up in buck dancing and your whole ideation of doing something that's impressive is playing your music loud enough to share it with somebody 3 blocks away, and everywhere you go, you got to be dancing and everything, you see, you're still a slave. When your idea of relevance is who won the latest basketball game instead of studying to get yourself a promotion on your job or finding out a business you can get into, you're still a slave. When you take your bucks and buy bling and not bang, you're still a slave. When you get to talking about it, and this is the one we don't even get, the black man has survived in America. Yeah, so does the herd of cows is a herd, but every one of those cows is going to be slaughtered to be beefsteak or hamburger. So, frankly, I'm not going to be slaughtered to be beefsteak and hamburger. They'll have to fight me. But you see, we keep glorifying survival rather than better dead than red. I regret that I have but one life to live, give for my country, give me liberty or give me death. See, we don't understand that. We always talking about a black man survived in America. You see, and we don't understand what it takes to be free because they have conditioned us to think wrong.
And we got too many shouting Christian preachers.
Too many chicken eating stalwart preachers like that fool that got elected senator and right across from his church, Ebenezer, down in Georgia. King's Church. Yeah, I don't even want to mention his name. He's got all that trash in that big field and all those homeless people over there. He calls himself a man of God and ain't done a damn thing to deal with helping those people out except drive by and turn his head so he doesn't have to look at them when he goes up there and embarrasses the King family by what he's done to take that church down. And he is one of these handkerchiefs. What's that fool that's running for the 15th district, congressional district in New York, that colored person, colored boy? He says, we have to hurry up and bring these 11 million illegals into full citizen status because we need their youthful vigor. What the hell happened to all those black folk just a few blocks down the street in Harlem that are getting so badly mistreated and have so much need? What the hell's wrong with you, you slave ass? What about this house boy, Cory Booker, who sits there with his gay behind, and he's part of that black caucus thing that is not really a black caucus. It is a surrogate for LGBTQ. What about somebody says all those athletes who are sending signals to help the black community rise up in economics, food, and clothes. Damn them. They're getting too much goddamn money from sponsoring distractions. Who the hell needs another goddamn pair of tennis shoes? Too many of the people buying them for their kids are too damn fat to run to their front door, let alone do anything with them. And we
I got
need to
one
sit
question,
there,
Eric.
buy you some dress shoes and shine the damn
Well,
thing so you can look right when you go in for a job. Natural hair is not having your nappy hair dirty, filthy, and unwashed for 3 weeks at a time, all toughed up with lint in it. That's
Bernard,
just being goddamn tacky.
yeah,
Having
Bernard,
15 pounds of weave in your
before you
head
ask the
is
question,
not
Bernard, hold on.
natural. There's nothing natural about something clipped off of somebody else and put in your head with glue. See, we
Right.
got it. Wear a goddamn suit. That is urban camouflage. You join the Army or the Marine Corps, they give you a camouflage uniform so you can blend in when you're doing your soldier thing. When you're trying to do your people thing, there ain't no point in standing out so you make yourself a target. You're going to act crazy and want to act like you're going to play kamikaze, at least be able to back your shit up when you do. Have enough sense to know when you should and when you shouldn't. Do what you need to do to pay for your children. Pay for the people you're responsible for. Stand up, make where you live a better, safer, more secure place filled with economic prosperity, opportunity, sense of purpose, morality, and ethics. It ain't nothing good about you because you're a damn liar if you think of yourself as a Robin Hood. If you do what you do, ripping off your people, poisoning your people, raping your people, robbing your people, and gangstering your people. You ain't shit. You ain't no man. You ain't doing nothing. And by the way, whole lot of MFs off in the penitentiary need to be there because they ain't shit. They didn't play Robin Hood. They did these things to their people. Maybe if they man up, then they can do something. You run around dressing like a girl. Have you seen this shit that the new style where they have leggings for boys now? What the hell is that?
I've seen dresses for boys. I've seen that.
I mean, these tight peg pants are bad enough. Hell, if you were supposed to be going for bad, you got taken away an option. You can't even wear an ankle holster with that shit.
Yeah. Let me
Why
say
are they
this.
adopting all these clothes you can't pack hardware under? Oh,
Right.
why would you be interested? We don't need those. I mean,
Right.
we should be pushing styles where you can pack your hardware. We got to start thinking
Well,
like
they
that.
want to disarm you.
Instead of worrying about learning how to dance or shooting baskets, you ever been out on a range? Save your money. Go see what you can do. Learn. Teach your boys and sons how to shoot. Don't have any sons, teach your daughters. Let your sons teach the sisters.
Roland Farton may be interested in those leggings. He wears ascots. Well, I don't know, but I saw Roland in that picture with those two men in those speedos. I don't even want to look at it. We got Biden and Harris back in, so that means I'm still can't get a job, but
You
I'm
mean
still.
popping fresh doughboy?
Yeah, you've met him, huh, Judge?
I've met him several times. He
That's your
got an
frat
ego
brother.
on him. He thinks he knows everything.
Yeah, I met him. He's a fucking jerk. I'll just leave it at that. He's a bit of a bit. Tariq goes in on him.
And those little punk asses on the Breakfast Club, I challenged them. None of them will rise to the challenge.
I know they do.
Well, let me say one
You know
thing
what I'm talking
to
about.
the panel right
Remember
here.
that when
I gotta say,
Charlotte, you got a little bitty motherfucker running around calling himself Charlemagne the God. The original Charlemagne was a 10th century psychopath, and he wants to name himself after him. Dude was 7 feet 2 inches tall. And he wants to name himself after him. Was a French boy who was a psychotic French boy, precursor to Adolf Hitler and that kind, and he wants to call himself that. Yeah, and he got on up there. What did he say? He sucked that dude's penis if he pulled that off. He said it.
Well, what got me was when he
I'd
made an
take this
ass
little
load
bunch of
of
punk
envy.
crew anywhere.
Yeah, well, what
Somebody
got
was
me,
trying to get me to pay my money up, go up before all that shit hit the fan. I said, well, what? I said, they ain't pay me. I'm smarter than they are. I got more education, street savvy, wisdom, learning, and discernment. Hell no.
well, what got me was when he got the ass vote for DJ Envy for his birthday. That one was very telling. But
How about milk yogurt? Remember he came on my Friday radio show
and he
talking about
left.
he liked chicks with dicks, but he wasn't gay? I
He
think
might
got a
about
dick,
Malik
man.
Yoba.
You want to
Yeah.
have sex with something with a dick? That make you gay. Don't you have a dick? Or are you one of them what drag kings or something? What isn't that what you call a woman who's trying to front off on being a man, like a drag
A drag
queen?
queen. A
Guy
trans.
trying to front off on being a woman. I say, are you a drag king or something? You really a woman? You like to go have sex with chicks with dicks and tits? If you got a dick, that make you gay. I'm not gay. They say they're girl. Man got a dick is a dick. You know, you gay. So he hung up the phone, and bailed. That's
Yeah,
what
I
they
remember
teach
that.
you to do.
And he
The
tried to
phone
compare
went
it
bad.
to, and what's worse was he tried to compare it to people with disabilities. And Bishop, I don't know if Bishop is still watching. He got on him, but
Yeah.
we got
Milk yogurt. Not Malik Yoba. Milk yogurt.
it makes you
By the
change the way
way,
you.
remember this. New York has declared that calling somebody gay is no longer a pejorative that leaves one liable for libel or slander or defamation of character. So, okay, you gay motherfucker, hell, that's your business, but damn, you want to advertise it, I'll call you that. See, they can't do that. You call somebody, you gay motherfucker. Well, you straight motherfucker? Yeah, I'm straight motherfucker. What's the problem? Hmm. And I ain't got to have no goddamn pride parade walking down in some chaps with my ass and dick out. So what about it? And by the way I'm talking, youngsters out there, is the way folk used to talk. We don't didn't cuss, but now you can cuss, so I'm just talking. See where things have gone, where you scared to do it? You think somebody that's doing it, oh, he's tipsy. Oh, hell no. I don't drink much these days. Every now and then, but not tonight. Too tired.
Yeah.
And see,
Well,
you got,
let
let me
me.
clarify. They have a right to do whatever they want to do in their bedrooms. That's First Amendment under the Constitution. But they have no right to come out and advocate for our children. You can drink all you want, whiskey and wine, but you can't feed it to children. Don't you even dare try. You can smoke all you want, but you can't come out and induce children to do it. You can get your freak on in your bedroom all you want, but don't you dare come out and try to freak out the kids. You can advocate being a punk ass coward. And who is this stupid ass motherfucker? Jehemina Thomas. What the fuck your name, boy? You call yourself a judge, but look at you. How you are lazy and dissing younger men than you. What for, you punk ass motherfucker? I got millions of dollars in a bank account. I was making $25-30 million a year for 15 years. I didn't buck dance. It was because I had a long career as a judge. I was 50 years old, 53 years old when they discovered me. I'm in my 70s. Now, fuck you, punk motherfucker, with your profitable, broke ass. Talking about a lazy motherfucker. I'm in my 70s. I should be out with a woman tonight, goddammit. But I'm in here trying to educate people. I don't have to do this, you punk.
Yeah,
Fuck
let me say
you.
this. None of the people here on this platform that come here, I asked them to be here. I brought Queen Shakur here, and her followers have actually become some of my subscribers now, and on this platform. So I'm thankful that she's here. And the same thing with the judge. Judge asks for no money when he comes on here. Neither does Shawn, and neither does Bernard. They come on here to support me. So don't disrespect my guests. If you got a problem with it, keep it moving. Take your ass to another channel or watch something on television. We're dropping juice.
Goddamn creep
You know,
ass trolls. Oh, take your faggot ass
don't even worry
someplace
about
else.
them. Don't even worry about them, Judge.
Excuse me.
Go somewhere else.
You'll have to
But I,
edit that out. You can bleep that out. Punk
Well, this is
ass
live, so
motherfucker.
everybody heard it, so I can't just
Okay,
delete it.
punk ass faggot motherfucker.
But
And see,
let's.
all
I
gay
want to
folk
wrap it
ain't
up,
faggots.
Judge.
It's just the one act like he, you punk troll motherfucker. Yeah, and I just folk anybody. That was my goddamn
Well,
business for 30 years. What the
my
hell do you
mind, y'all
think?
got to be
It
on my
even
game.
allows that in the Bible. Do judge not, least you judge, be judged, unless you are a judge. That was my business.
There we go. Black
Thank
Mama.
you.
Oh, Black Mama, thank you for the donation earlier. I appreciate it. Boss of Queenie. I see y'all all in chat. Mickey and Manger. Listen, I want to be getting to wrap this up. Uh, I do want to ask, and I'm going to go around the table so everybody can give where everyone can follow them and also their Cash App. But I want to also leave with this question. And I'll start with Queen, and then I'll go to Shawn, and then Bernard, and then Judge. Uh, what is the solution, especially now since people are seeing what's going on with this administration, how we're not supposed to give them, you said earlier, he doesn't get the benefit of the doubt. What's the solution now for Black folks, and where do we go from here? Queen, I'll let you go.
The solution is to hold them to the fire, to hold them accountable, to make them, or to ask them, basically, what are they going to do? I mean, they've made all of these promises. They said all these things. We need to stay on them to see if they're actually going to follow through with anything, which I doubt they will. But the main thing we need to do as far as a solution, well, as far as Black people issues, we're going to have to figure that out ourselves. And one of the things that I think we should do is absolutely stop spending money with them. Keep our money and support Black-owned businesses, buy Black and all of that. Stop spending money on name brands. And here's the thing that Black people need to realize also. During slavery, they branded our ancestors with hot irons, right? They branded the owners' names onto them. Black people are now branding themselves foolishly by buying name brands. They don't understand. That's why they call them that. That's why they're called name brands, because you are, in fact, branding yourself. And now many of our people are vanity slaves. That's why, as the judge said about, people going out waiting for these new sneakers and tennis shoes and all that stuff, they're doing that because they are vanity slaves. They feel like they have to spend money with the oppressor. And with that being said, another thing that we can do is, as far as the police killings of Black people unarmed, we need to start filing liens against the police officers' insurance, okay? Because when you file a lien against their insurance, they cannot work. So many of these officers are just getting resigning or being fired, and they're just going down the street to another department. Like Erica Shields, okay, she was the police chief in Atlanta. She's now the police chief in Louisville, Kentucky. She quit after the Rayshard Brooks killing, but she's now in charge of the same people who slaughtered Breonna Taylor. So none of that makes sense. At the end of the day, Black people also need to make sure that you have insurance policies of high value, as much as you can afford. Because I guarantee you, as I've said before, if police were continue to kill Black people and all of these claims are filed with the insurance companies will start having a problem with that. And then they will go after these police departments. Those are just a few of the things that we can do at the end of the day, because the Democrats and the Republicans, they're not going to do anything to help us. Now, we can sit here and ask Biden and Harris and stay on them, but in the end, they're not going to do anything, as I believe, but give us more pandering, more rhetoric, and more lies. And that's just what I think. So we have to look out for ourselves, and we need to do that by unifying, standing together, and basically supporting one another. That's what we need to do.
Economics. Amen, sister. Tell everybody where they can. I know your followers know where to follow you, but just for those that are on my channel, tell them where they can find you. And also, if you have a Cash App, I was going to ask if you could put it in your logo description so they'll see it.
Yeah, everyone can follow me on Authentic Black Goddess TV. Black is spelled BLAQUE, Authentic Black Goddess TV. They can also follow my podcast found on Anchor and Spotify. It's called Low Frequency Hertz. Hertz is HERTZ. And my Cash App is $Queen A Shakur. Thank you for having me. I appreciate everyone on the panel.
Thank you, Queen. I appreciate you for coming on. You're always welcome. And thank you again. You invited me on your chat platform first. So I wanted to return the favor, but thank you so much,
I want to
Shawn.
invite you on mine too.
Yes, there we go. Because Judge has a show on Fridays that we do with Bernard and myself, and with Valerie Denise Jones and Bishop and a few others. So yeah, so it's great that she can come on. So there
Good.
you go. You got a connection, brother.
Okay, Queen, I appreciate your remarks on the boycott and some other profound observations. One
Thank
point I want to make here: the cussing is for a purpose. I don't want to disrespect you or other sisters. The point is this, is that we have allowed censorship to turn everything 180.
mm-hmm.
We used to not be able to use profanity, talk about obscenity, show or discuss pornography. Now children get exposed to that. It's everywhere on television and in the media. I'm using it freely because I want to make a contrast and shock a few people who might get shocked by it, because the things that used to be censored, pornography, obscenity, and things like this, are now approved. But pornography and obscenity are being pushed on our children. Drag queens are reading to them to condition them to this. Children are being taught how to do things sexually and not let their parents know about it. We are getting a slow infusion of this poison into our minds. So perhaps, with no disrespect to the women who are listening, the sisters, this is for a purpose. It's just to show you what's going on. Now, we can boycott, we should. We should start boycotting by never giving another damn vote to the Democratic Party,
Mm-hmm.
nor giving one to the Republican Party, or to anyone that we get nothing out of. We need to start managing our money so that it is used effectively. We have billions of dollars worth of spending power. Everybody counts on us having no understanding of economics. We need to start taking economics. We need to start reading history, not in terms of who buck danced when and for, but what the significance of history is. A big lesson is that America runs in 50-year cycles of violence when the country just goes through an upheaval and a lot of personal frustration and aggression is released, interpersonal. And 50 years ago, the white folk were long-haired, hippie, free, love power types protesting the war. Black folk burnt down cities. 50 years before that, the real white folk were out there doing it, and they were lynching thousands of black folk in the cities of America from 1919 to 1922. 1919, for example, they occupied Washington, D.C., and they killed several hundred black folk, lynched them, and wounded several thousand. They called in the cavalry and an infantry unit to put down order. Black people were on the roofs shooting off the racists that were trying to burn down the tenements they lived in. We this time are about to see the same thing happen. 1921, 100 years ago, black folk always talking about they burnt down Wall Street and lynched all the black folk, Black Wall Street and lynched all the black folk. Remember, that was 100 years ago. We run in 50-year cycles. That's something you need to learn in history. Learn the who, what, why, and when of history, not so you can memorize details, because those details are unimportant. The significant, important things are what actually happened, why did it happen, and what do I see now that reminds me that there's nothing new under the sun and that history repeats, unless you direct it so that you avoid the mistakes of the past so you can maximize the potential for your future. Are you making where you live a better, safer, more secure place filled with economic prosperity, sense of purpose, morality, and ethics? Are you doing what you need to do to prepare yourself physically and mentally to be a man of peace who will enforce public peace, dignity, and order where you live and become brave and courageous when necessary? Do not believe it just because it's on this mass media. You're getting fed a packet of lies. You have had it fed to you 50 years. You have come to glorify what is dysfunction for everyone on this planet but us. and it has been dysfunction for everybody in history. So we don't need to repeat those mistakes. We can do whatever in hell we need to do. We need to do what we need to do. We can do what we need to do, but it's hard work. The work we spend going out learning how to play basketball, football, baseball, or any other trivial distraction, we got to put that work in preparing our minds. We have to train to deal with the moves that we need to make in society, not just the moves on a basketball court. We don't need to worry about who's slam dunking on a big game because he's getting millions of dollars for doing it and you ain't doing anything except distracting from what you need to be doing. So we need to exercise our power. And in order to exercise our power, we must prepare our minds to understand what that power is. We must prepare our minds to understand how to exercise that power. We must prepare ourselves and put ourselves in a position to exercise that power. We can be what we ought to be if we choose to be so. Not what you want to be, because you can always choose to be a damn fool. And sometimes it is a question of not whether you're dealing with a fool, but how big a fool can a fool be? So we don't have to be that. Get off of the plantation. The gate is unlocked. Walk out of it. If you didn't take advantage of it, get your GED. Make your children, make them. Don't give them the option. Make them get everything they can get out from kindergarten through 12th grade, and every door that they need to go through for the rest of their lives is unlocked. They may have to kick it all the way in, but at least it is unlocked. We can be what we could be if we figure out what we ought to be. When we figure out what we ought to be, then we need to have the physical courage and bravery to go acquire it. We need to be prepared to die. It is not about survival. It is about doing what you need to do, even if it means ultimate self-sacrifice. That's why we have heroes and sheroes. We need to get it on, move it on, push it on, and do what we have to do to get on board the queen that we need to be on.
All right, judge has spoken. Shawn and Bernard. Bernard, you go, and then Shawn, I'll let you. And make sure you guys let you know where your cash apps are, they can follow you.
First off, let me say this was excellent show tonight. I gotta say that.
Thank you.
Yeah, Gavin, it's good to always have a judge in the house. And Shawn and Queen Shakur. Actually, I need you to send me an email so we could do this. You are wonderful and you're good as advertised. I've been watching Fly Nubian Queen, and I do appreciate you being here with us. You are a honor.
Thank you.
So my email is BernardJohnson10@yahoo.com. That's Cash App is $1919 BJ. I guess you can reach me on Facebook if they don't shut me down again at Bernard Johnson, and you can reach me on Instagram at Bernard1121, or in my personal training website is www.kingbjfitness.com. So, but yes, Queen, send me an email, and we have to do this again because they're great, and keep on pushing, Queen, and keep on educating young sisters and older sisters, because we got a long way to go. And judge, one thing, I was at work today and guys were talking about buying them Jordans, and the guy said, "You don't buy no shoes?" I said, "I don't buy Jordans. I just buy me a pair of tennis shoes." So it is what it is.
Yeah, we know what bling does to you rather than bang. By the way, tomorrow, area code 929-477-1167. Call in. You can get me and Valerie Denise and Brother Richard, Brother Bernard. You're invited. We're going to get you a whole invitation system very quickly, King Queen. I was impressed.
Thank you.
Anyway, It's time to move on. By the way, I do tweet on Twitter at Judge Joe Brown TV. They won't give me a blue check. They knocked off 4,000 followers in 72 hours, and I picked up a little more than 5 in 24. So, screw that. And they also threatened some of the people that were following me with being permanently suspended if they went back. So I guess I got some new one. If Parler ever comes back, I do it as myself, Judge Joe Brown, and they gave me my red P in 15, 20 minutes. I do a thing with golfer girl from Miami. She's actually a lawyer on chat room. But I got a little perturbed the chat room when I looked at their logo carefully and they've got a rainbow on it. So come visit us, and sister, I'm going to check you out.
Okay.
And Brother James, it's always a pleasure being on here with you. You're a wise young man. I like your accent. And Counselor Richard, it's always a pleasure. And Bernard won't leave my ass alone. He sends me these
Yeah, I know. He does the
these
same thing to me.
links at 3 a.m. in the morning. And man, I'm glad I
Queen,
wasn't
that's
getting
the
any
CashApp.
nookie or something. Damn, he would have got right in the middle of it.
Let me say this, excuse me.
Is that correct?
Sorry.
Gavin, I'm not on Fly Nubian Queen. Please don't say that. I have not been on Fly Nubian Queen.
All right, I'm sorry.
Yes, I'm not on there anymore. Okay, for very good reason. But also, my YouTube channel is Authentic Black Goddess TV. Black spelled BLAQUE. That's where they can find me. I am not affiliated with Fly Nubian Queen any longer.
Okay, Authentic Black Goddess TV.
Yes,
All
Black
right.
BLAQUE.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sorry about that.
That's okay.
No, I haven't. I mean, I usually used to watch you on there, and that's what I was thinking. But okay, but that is Authentic Black Goddess TV.
There you go.
Was that the YouTube channel they took off?
Oh, that's the one I still have. The one they took down was the Queen Ahmadiyya Shakur show.
Okay.
Yeah.
Censorship.
Yes, absolutely. They took it down today.
See, that's what I'm talking about. We can't leave this alone.
Shawn, let Shawn have the final word because he's been the quiet man this last year.
Come on, Brother James.
Well, when it comes down to it, the solutions are in front of us, but we have to get our mind right to see it. So a lot of people, especially in the Black community, their minds are just messed up, so they can't see the solutions that are right in front of us. I mean, we have 3.3 trillion in spending power with cash and credit. And if we took that economic power and put it towards our own businesses and our own infrastructure, we could be an economic powerhouse. And we have to get our mind right to do that instead of spending our money with foreign businesses and making them rich at our expense and taking money out of our own community. We need to put it into our own community, and we have to start getting our mind right. And that's one of the reasons why I started the SJS Direct Imprint, so that people could start seeing positive images of themselves and start learning about different aspects of life with my nonfiction, like the books I do, like The Man Crisis and Why 70% of Black Women Are Single. The whole point is to start getting your mind right, because once you start to see things correctly, then you can start building and really start taking power back and start taking things back towards building a better and stronger Black community. Now, my social media, I have a lot of it. So I have a YouTube channel called Shawn James, and that's on YouTube. It's ShawnJames. You can look for it. Probably link to the channel on the chat, and you can sub to that channel. I also have a Cash App, which is Cash App / $Shawn S. James, ShawnSjames, and that's where I get primarily a lot of my donations. I leave a link to that in the chat. And I also present I've written over 75 books on Amazon.com, a lot of positive Black fiction and nonfiction. And I have a big catalog that I do because I want readers of all ages to have different literature to give them positive pictures of Black people and the Black experience. And all of those books are available on Amazon.com. Everything from the John Haynes series, the ISIS series, the books of the Spencerella trilogy, the Black sorority book, The Thetas, and books like The Man Crisis All those books are available in paperback and Kindle format. You can also find them on other online booksellers like Smashwords, the iBookstore, and Google Play. So I also have a Twitter/Shawn S. James. You can follow me over there, and I'll leave a link to that in the chat as well, because a lot of times they go and they check there. And I also have a Facebook as well that I have, facebook.com/Shawn S. James. So I have a lot of social media that you guys can check out. I have a lot of great books you guys can check out, a lot of great positive Black fiction. And the foundation starts with getting your mind right. So you have to start thinking right. And that's how you get started in a direction towards moving the race forward towards constructive solutions. So you're not focused on getting bamboozled with con games like your leftists and your people on the right want to pull on Black people.
Mm-hmm.
Most definitely, Shawn. Judge Shawn's got to come on the show too, the Judge Joe Brown show.
Sure, we're going to get you on. I
All right.
thought I'd said that last time we were here together on your show. By the way, I just got some breaking news. Twitter refuses to remove child porn, sued for carrying kiddie porn on Twitter. Twitter claims in defense it doesn't violate Twitter policies.
Disgusting.
But
I
they do have kiddie porn on there.
I thought
you
that was
send that
against federal
autograph
law.
to me.
We'll do it right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I just
By
got
the way,
this from Miss Dana Cumberlander.
Facebook is also being sued too, Queen. I don't know if you knew this. They have antitrust law. Well, it's actually 46 states. The Department of Justice has filed suit for violation of privacy.
I did
So
know about that, and also about Twitter not taking down that pedophilia. Yeah, I did a live on the Twitter thing today and a few weeks ago on Facebook. Yep. Disgusting. But this is what they do, but they want to stop people from speaking the truth.
and I got suspended for playing the dozens on a suspected white supremacist.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and they want to lock your account because you criticizing drag queens talking to children, but they have kiddie porn. See, that's the hypocrisy of it all.
Right.
If you point it out, they block you, but they play it. See, now you know what to go. Look at who formed Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
They're a bunch of freakos too.
Mm-hmm.
See, and they advocate and they're spreading poison. If you go on Facebook, they're even less tolerant. And Instagram, they lost their mind. Who cares if you had a glass of tea at 3:17 a.m. yesterday? You know, but that's what they do.
But I'll tell you something else too, Judge. They removed my videos that I did about the pedophiles, the elite pedophiles. And there's proof and documentation in courts and everything about all of this. But they said that is conspiracy theories. And then YouTube accused me of cyberbullying and harassing by posting that video. So I said that's illegal. Cyberbullying and harassment are crimes. If you're accusing me, I'm going to need you to tell me who, in fact, I committed these crimes against. And if you can't prove that I actually committed these crimes, because I surely didn't, then that is libel, defamation, and slander.
Yeah, they have criminal acts. There are civil liabilities if you do something wrong. But these venues that control the airwaves that they get the right to use as a licensee from the public is against the public good when they censor what they do. They censor stuff that throughout this country's history has always been open and free communication. We're talking about politics and social issues. If you transgress, there is defamation of character. There are criminal statutes, but you violate none of them. And what is going on is it's a new trend. The country has lapsed into a very poisonous situation where we use private enterprise to do censoring on behalf of the regime that is now in power that was previously out of power for 4 years. See, that's bad. Now, I don't like the Republicans, but the Democrats, they've just gotten poisonous. And the point is they've got a whip about to strike black folk, and they've got chains dangling for black folk. So what I am against is the most immediate enemy, but all of them, they are the enemy until they start acting like they've got some reason to support black folk and some reason to support decent humanity. Again, what adults do in their bedrooms is their own damn business. But when you start putting it out in a fashion, poison the children, that's wrong. By the way, if you want to check something out, even CNN did something. The new Danish clamation thing for children is called John Dillerman. Cartoon Network was going to put it on. I don't know if they're still going to. John Dillerman is gay. He looks like Zorba the Greek with a huge handlebar mustache, and he wears a knit cap. He's an adult, but he's got a problem. He's got the world's longest penis, and it's out of control. So a horse gets out of control, he lassos the horse with his dick. The children want a jump rope, and there's really a lot of significance in this. He ties the end of his penis to a fence, and he lets the kids jump his penis. And some kids are being swept down a raging stream, about to get drowned. He throws his dick in the water, and all of these boys grab a hold of his dick to pull themselves up, which he does, and then he squirts because that got him off. He lashes, throws his penis up, and catches hold of a helicopter to rescue him and some other kids, and he reels his dick in as he goes up to the helicopter. It's a claymation thing, and he wears this red and white sock around his penis so it just doesn't hang around loose because it's too big to put in his pants. Wow. So it can stretch down to the end of the block. So when he gets an erection. So that's what they're trying to show kids as a cartoon. So, yeah. I mean, these things do not need to be in front of children.
They absolutely do not.
That's the actual cartoon there. That's a still shot of it.
That thing with the red and white stripes is his dick.
Wow.
That's not appropriate for children.
Absolutely not. It's disgusting.
Yeah. It's going to get worse.
It surely is.
Now, that's where it's going. And see, my context is 50 some years ago when I was in the BSU at UCLA and we visited other campuses around the country. I often heard this other side talking about they were going to take over movies, television, sports, entertainment, news, and then politics. And they were going to destroy masculinity. They were going to destroy the traditional family because it was looked at as a trap for women. They were going to destroy the institution of marriage because they said it was a form of slavery for women. You had this movement from the anti-war crowd that said war is a man thing. So the way to stop war is to raise boys like they were girls so they would emote, cry, shout, let it all hang out, instead of harboring emotions that would build up until war occurred. No cap guns, no water pistols, unisex child clothing, unisex hairstyles and upbringing and stuff like that. And it is progress to where you find it now. So you have to understand this isn't even a matter anymore of old-time white supremacy and racism. That's been used as a smokescreen for something worse. It is a fundamental attack on the nature of humanity. We all have families wherever we come from in the world. We all appreciate the beauty of womanhood and what women do for the children and the family. We all are supposed to appreciate manhood for what men do and sacrifice to do what they need to do for protection and provision of their families. We have gotten away from training children and disciplining them and let them run wild, and we treat them like they're just little people. So we have gotten way away from that aspect of human culture that has evolved in lockstep with physiological evolution. We are getting away from what it takes us to become and be if we are going to remain humans. So this is something that is based on self-hatred from a bunch of people that hate what they are and hate what they want to be. They don't like what they are. They want to claim it's pride, but actually it is a dissembled self-hate. We black people ought to know about that, because in the 1960s, when black people were so deep into self-hatred based on the white imagery that we were constantly bombarded with, we decided we were going to be black and proud. And we did. Now we are having it undone. It has been undone with 50 years of glorification of dysfunction and the acclamation to self-hatred as a way of life. And if the last thing black folk need is to get back into self-hatred. That's this whole thing about gender. Just one brief last word for that. You're supposed to be able to be whatever gender you want, and there's supposed to be, what, 5,812 different kinds, and it's all in your mind, and you're supposed to recognize it. Well, how about if you decided you didn't want to be black anymore and you declared yourself white, and they tried to make laws so you had to be treated as white if you declared yourself white? That ain't gonna work. But the bottom line is that I don't care what color you are. You can play Michael Jackson and erase your color, but you still got a dick or a vulva between your legs. So you can't hide that. So they're going to something deeper and more fundamental. You know, there are black men and black women, and blackness is something that black folk don't want to get rid of because we're proud to be black. But they want to get to something that underlies even that. It's a basic. You get to pick whether you are a man or a woman, because you don't like being a man if you got a penis. You don't like being a woman if you got a vulva. So what time is this self-hatred? See, that's what we're really talking about. And that's what is going on and has gone on. It wasn't about Trump. Trump was a smokescreen so these people could get us to front off for them as an excuse for pulling off a political coup. They cheated and stole this election. They act like they stole it. They're doing everything they could to steal it. And see, there's an underlying something that black people are unaware of. I have it from some reliable sources that National Guard division that was there, if Trump had evoked the Insurrection Act of 1807, they would have dealt with moving over to his side, and if anybody gave him an order to the contrary, they would have mutinied. We had a congressman here, white Jew guy, in the district is 92% black, and he was in here storming around yesterday hollering that the president-elect was in jeopardy because 72% of that National Guard unit voted for Trump. I think if he had evoked that 1807 act, they would have backed him up, and that would have been real interesting. That's how close it came. But see, he's not the devil they try to make him out to be. The real devil is like Satan himself. The real Satan, the real devil, is the great deceiver. Remember that. Donald Trump didn't try to deceive you as to what he was. He heightened the contradiction so you could see it. The great deceiver lies to you about what he or she is, lies to you about what the objectives are, and lies to you about what they're going to do, except in this case, they said they weren't doing a damn thing.
Exactly.
Now, just think about that. Satan and the devil are Satan is the devil. That is the great deceiver, the great deception. Just keep that in mind.
Absolutely.
Well, we've been here hot and heavy almost for 3 hours. I want to thank my panelists, Brother Bernard, Shawn James, author Shawn James, Queen Shakur, thank you for coming again, and also the Honorable Judge Joe Brown. Always a pleasure for you to stop by. And all of you who just came to my channel, I thank you from the bottom of my heart, because I'm seeing more people that are here. And that's all thanks to Queen over there, because I know that the Royals are in the chat, because that's all I've seen all night. But I want to thank y'all again. We're going to have to do this again. I see you, computer robots. My brother from Canada. Shout out to him. And I
What
will
is your
talk.
YouTube channel again? YouTube email.
My
And
email.
Bernard, don't send me any damn links till at least 8 o'clock in the morning, my damn time. I don't feel like waking up to that sound I got from my text. You know, sent me 3 or 4 or 5 somethings in a row at
Sorry,
4
man.
a.m. in the morning. A lot of
I'm
times I'm
sorry,
usually
man.
up then, but I'm working hard. That's the time I work. You know, I don't get 3 or 4
No, I was
hours of
actually
sleep a
waiting
day.
for it. I was actually waiting for email address. That's all.
Yeah, please.
I can, Queen Amadal, if you mind, can send that to Bernard if that's okay with you.
And
That's
Counselor, would you send me Queen's contact information if you don't mind, ma'am, please,
oh, I don't mind.
so I can get Valerie Denise on the case.
Yes, absolutely. I
And
appreciate
by
it.
the way, one last word: unity is a good thing, but from my experience with it more than 50 years ago, you have to be cautious, because when you're overly concerned with unity, several things go wrong. One, you invite in people who are snitches, agents provocateur, who are police informants, who are police officials, FBI agents, and you might find that you wind up with more of the enemy in your organization than legitimate followers. Next thing is, if you're so concerned with unity, you can't do what a good preacher does, which is he castigates his congregation for their sin and he urges them to be non-sinful and do the right thing. Now we just get, do you believe you can do what you want to do, which is not the thing, which is part of what happens when you don't deal with critique, as Mao used to say in the Red Book. Always confront wrong and incorrectness whenever you encounter it, no matter who is there, because incorrectness and wrongness are poisons that must be extirpated as soon as they are encountered before they spread.
Absolutely.
So a lot of what I do is a shame that anybody who went through what I went through will do. You have to castigate before you can build up. You have to point out the wrong, especially since it's been so camouflaged that people don't realize they're doing wrong. I have known too many people who were killed behind this stuff. And I mean, that's a lot of people. I know I had one period, it was about 4 or 5 months, when I had more people that I talked to within a week or two who got killed thanks to this kind of mess in that short period of time than anybody is taken to the streets to protest getting killed in the last several years. 35, 40, 45 people got killed in 2 month period. I mean, it's absolutely awful. So we have to be cautious because these people will kill you.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't have step. And
Right.
as soon as you start doing something, they're going to start trying to put you under surveillance.
You're right.
But we have to move on.
Yeah, most definitely. And I did a review of that because I saw that in the movie, The One Night in Miami. I'd have to talk to you about that later, Judge. But there was some stuff in that was meh when it came to Malcolm and Sam Cooke. But yes, most definitely. And I know that movie Judas and the Black Messiah is coming out about Fred Hampton's murder. So what you're talking about surveillance and so forth, that stuff going on. And you know what? If we if they are watching, that means I'm doing something good. So I take
Well,
it.
yeah, let me say, to add credibility to what I'm saying, I recruited Geronimo Pratt G, Elaine Brown, Nathaniel Clark, Bunchy Carter, who was chairman of the Black Panther Party in Southern California, uh, John Hudgens, and so forth, the UCLA. I was a community liaison from UCLA to BSU to the entirety of the LA community. I knew Eldridge Cleaver, Stokely Carmichael. I was bodyguard for a few days for H. Rap Brown. A whole lot of stuff. You know, I've seen people get taken down. All right, met Huey P. Newton and all of that. Angela Davis and I were friends. I took a course from her. She invited me to do it when she was professor out at UCLA. I know what happened and why I don't celebrate Hanukkah because of Ron Karinga and the US organization, and tell that fool to stop talking about waffling. I'm trying to get you some credibility here so you will pay attention. I ain't nobody that buck danced, and I ain't put no hoops up on a wall and put a basketball through them. I
My
did play
mods, would you
football at
please take
UCLA, but
care
it's
of the
another thing.
mods? Take care of this,
Now,
please.
yeah, now, be real. I guess I didn't get killed off like so many did. I've been shot twice. You know, most of you guys on here talk about that time, know about that time 5 folk broke off in my house and we had a shootout when they were trying to kill me when I was on that James Earl Ray case. Okay, see, I ain't giving you wolf tickets. I'm trying to give you some facts. So when you trying to come at me like I'm all this, that, and the other old man and ain't done nothing, well, you know, maybe I haven't. But I'm just trying to get you some knowledge before I get too old to move and while I'm still breathing before it gets lost. You need to know these things.
Most definitely. Judge is dropping gems.
Absolutely.
So, all right. Well, we wrapped it up anyway. Lady and gentlemen, thank you all for coming on and being guests here. And Judge and Bernard, I will talk to you all tomorrow, and possibly Queen Amidala. I might see you to Amidala. I might see you tomorrow too, if you call in on the Judge Joe Brown show. I don't know about if Shawn is welcome, but yeah, Shawn's welcome to come on. So I'd be happy to hear from him. But I talk to Shawn all the time. I'll Facebook message him because he's working on a book or something. So and y'all stood 3 hours with me, so I really appreciate that, especially those in the chat. So,
Thank you,
guys,
man.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate it, and let me just offer these final words. My thoughts about the presidential administration and incoming. You know, I always look to try and give. This has just been me. I do try to give people the benefit of the doubt and just see how things are because I know I don't know the future, and I say, maybe this may be bad or not. It may be a good thing, but in my experiences, I just really I research it like all of you all here, and I know that no president will ever make things better for me. I have to make them better for myself. I'm in control of my life, regardless of what you put uh, in front of me and the barriers that we have in place. So, what is the time for us right now as Black people? We have to wake up and we can't go to sleep. And that's the biggest problem that I have that I saw yesterday. I think a lot of our people will go back to sleep over this thing and be lulled because this is technically a third term for Barack Obama, and we know what happened there. So do not get caught up in symbolism. The time for symbolism is over where we just were accepting who the first Black president, the first Black woman, or the who who looks nice in a dress. I saw that on my channel, on my timeline when I was looking at Michelle Obama walking with Barack Obama. I mean, she came in there looking like Nick Fury. Her hair straight, her suit was all, and yeah, she's an attractive woman, but is that all you accept? What about the lives of your children? What about the lives of your future descendants? Don't you worry about them and what they can get? Does it not bother you that 11 million immigrants who did not build this country, and that's not saying that I'm against people to come over here legally, but for all the people that we have that are homeless across the country, here in my hometown of New Orleans, underneath the I-10 bridge, I've seen nothing but tents of homeless people. Where are their benefits? Where are their executive orders? Where is that being? Has Biden ever talked about that? President Biden, I don't think, has even opened his mouth on that. And yet, when we ask for things such as reparations, we are told that it's only going to, only do it depending on how much money it is and depending on if Native Americans can get it. Well, President Biden, Native Americans also participated in slavery, and not to mention also they have gotten, in many circumstances, reparations. In fact, the Supreme Court had ruled that part of Oklahoma, half of it, was Native American territory. So this is not the time for all of us to go back to sleep. We made that mistake 8 years before Trump. And so now, with the next 4 years here, if Biden is going to be here, and I say that not as a threat, but I don't think, this is my opinion, President Biden will last even a year, just given his advanced health, his advanced age, and any health concerns. But we are in and being pushed in, as Morgan Freeman said, and quoting the late great Joe Clark, being pushed into a permanent underclass. So we got to wake up. We failed to heal Dr. Claude Anderson's warnings when he told us we needed to push for reparations and we need to demand something, because if you don't, you're through. And we are being buried right now, whether you like it or not. So the men have to be men and rise up and get out of this hole. And the women and children need to evacuate and get on the boats first, as Judge Joe Brown says, the life rafts first. So
thank you, Black Gavin, for this cash app.
So having said all of that, men, rise up, take action. Anyway, guys, that is it for me. This has been another edition of Gavin Richard Presents here on my channel, GBoo2786. Gavin Richard, also my other YouTube channel, if I still have one tomorrow. And you can also find me on Anchor, Gavin Richard Presents. You can find me on Facebook. I've live streamed it here, and GavinRich2786 on Twitter. This is my Cash App if you would like to donate, as well as my Google Pay. If you want to email me and want future videos, you can please send an email. You can also support the Patreon. I had that in the comments section. So I thank you again to my guests, Queen Amadaya Shakur, Shawn James, author Shawn James of The Man Crisis, Brother Bernard Johnson, and the Honorable Judge Joe Brown. You guys be safe and be blessed. Man up. Man up.
That's right.
I'll holla. Peace. Thank you all again.
Good night.
Thank you for having me. Good night.
Bye.
All right, now.
Good night.